Marcus Speaks. What is going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Marcus Speaks Marcus Speaks Live, where I give you guys hard-hitting topics all the time. I didn't even come into it that I wanted to, so how about I do that again? Marcus Speaks. What's up, everybody? It's the aloof Buddha, Mr. Free Thinking, coming at you with another episode of Marcus Speaks. I'm your host, Marcus. If you could, on income, can you please like this video, share this video, and subscribe if you are new. Hit that bell icon so you can get all of my notifications once I go live. You guys didn't see it, but I did before coming in here. Somebody wrote a comment, and I don't have it anymore because it didn't show up on the restream chat. Somebody freaking posed as one of the people I'm talking about tonight, and it was hilarious. I laughed for a few minutes. But besides all that, let's get into the show. So, as always, please do not forget to check out Marcus Speaks Play on Fridays at 6:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The only reason why I say 6:30-ish, because sometimes I don't get here all the time. So 6:30-ish p.m.com. Always look between 6:30 to 7:30, and I will go live. Right now, as far as game-wise of what I'm playing, I am playing Horizon Forbidden West. Last night's stream was very lackluster, and I'm sorry for whoever watched that. And I'll tell you, it's really not my fault because I didn't have a certain item, but it doesn't really matter because we are watching Marcus Speaks Live tonight. Please don't forget, Marcus Speaks Live comes on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm always here 3 to 5 minutes early so I can get the show started, get everything going. As well, if you could, please go and subscribe to both of my YouTube channels. The main channel, which holds the podcast, as well as Marcus Speaks Play, but also subscribe to Marcus Speaks Play, which only houses the exclusive game streams. Alright? So, both of those links are down in the description below. I suggest you click both of them and subscribe to both. But the thing is, nobody asked you anything. My damn watch. But yeah, please go over there and subscribe. You can subscribe to both channels on either channel. So it doesn't matter what link you hit, you'll be able to subscribe to both when you go to either channel. I'm also on Twitch when I do my Twitch streams. For some reason, those videos on Twitch haven't been saving. They usually, I think they're usually there for about like 2 weeks or something like that, and then they get deleted from Twitch itself. But for some reason, they haven't been saving my videos. So it's probably because of the name change. I'm not sure. But go over there at Marcus Speaks Productions on Twitch stream, twitch.tv. If you have any sort of story recommendation, if you have a recommendation that I can do during the show, just let me know either in the live chat, or you can hit me up in the comments if you're watching the replay, or you can hit me up in my DMs on social media, which you can follow me on social media at Instagram at marcus.speaks.podcast, as well as Facebook at Marcus Speaks. Follow the group page as well, Marcus Speaks Marcus Speaks Podcast, and I'm also on Twitter at Marcus Speaks 25, username Marcus Speaks Podcast. So if you guys could check out all those links down at the bottom. They're right there waiting for you to click on them so you can subscribe to me, follow me, do whatever you have to do to make me successful so I can, blow the hell up. And if you could, please like this video, share this video, and subscribe. All right. Also, let's get some music going on up in here. Drop a comment in the chat. I'm watching the chat. I'm watching you guys hit that chat. It's also right here at below me. And if you could, there is a link off to the side here. Well, it's not now, but it will be. Hold on one second. Now there is a link over there. Hit that link if you want to come and talk to me. The only thing, there is 2 rules. All right? I don't want to get this messed up. So, if you want to come on the show and talk to me, there are 2 rules. 1, you got to have your camera on. 2, please mute yourself upon arrival. All right? Do not have anything going on in the background. Turn off anything that is in the background. All right? But your camera must be on, and please mute yourself upon arrival. With the camera situation, if you don't want to be shown on the show, you got to have your camera on the backstage. I have to see who you are. I have to know, not know who you are, but I have to see who you are. And before you come into the show, I'll let you know. If you don't want to, there's a private chat off to the side. Let me know who you are and just say, I don't want to be shown on camera. I'll let you know to turn your camera off before I bring you in. All right? So those are the rules if you want to come and talk to me. Other than that, everybody, when I do my show, there's something that I do as far as I play videos to go along with what I'm talking about. Let me scooch over so you guys can see the screen here a little bit better. When I do, like I said, when I do my show, I play videos to further my point, either in the beginning of before what I'm going to talk about or at the end of what I'm going to be talking about with each subject. All right? So, with that being said, the only way I can do that is fair use. Fair use is not only a YouTube policy, it's also the law. But I have to make it transformative in a way to where the video that I'm actually showing isn't being ran to where when I get monetized, I can make money off of someone else's video. So I have to make it transformative in some sort of way, which I will be. So instead of me explaining what fair use is, I much rather for someone, my past self, to tell you what fair use is. Hello, everyone. I'm going to tell you about fair use. It's the law. Warning: federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyright motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107. Holy shit. That was a mouthful. Now, since I got that out the way, how's everybody doing out there in wherever that you are? I hope you guys read the description of what's going on tonight. But usually I put a little good note at the end to where y'all should be rolling something up if you smoke. You should have something in your cup if you drink. Because I'm about to take you on a funky good time ride. Alright? Now, to get this going, I don't know how true this is, but Willie D posted a video today that I watched, basically talking about how Wells Fargo said that I should turn my mic down a little bit. It's a little too loud. Hope that's good right there. Um, so he said Wells Fargo said that there is going to be a recession coming. How true that is, I have no idea. Um, but if there is a recession coming, I hope there isn't because we already have inflation. In certain places in the country, there's food shortages, and then if this goddamn uh, recession comes, I don't know what the hell to tell you guys because um, it's going to be a circus in this country if that happens. So you guys, I will come next week with that information. If it is true, I'll search some articles. I'll read some articles to see how true that is. I'll search here on YouTube for people that I watch that actually cover stuff like that. So if any of those sources that I read or watch says the same, I will come to you guys. And I also might refer you to the places of where I went as well to get that information. But other than that, how about we start the show? So, the very first topic that I have for you guys tonight is this. If you guys don't know what the DGB is, DGB stands for the Disinformation Governance Board. All right. Um, the Disinformation Governance Board. Let me bring this picture up for you guys to see. Is a part of Homeland Security. Homeland Security was a a governmental body that got created after the incidents of 9/11. George Bush, which signed this department, this branch of government into existence because everyone knows what happened on 9/11. Planes flew into buildings by terrorists, as so the story goes. And they created this to protect the homeland, the borders of the United States. They've been very bad at doing that as well. So basically, this governance board, this disinformation governance board, was created to stop Russian interference of whatever their narrative, of whatever the U.S. narrative is. You guys heard me several times talk about distractions and narratives and stuff like that in past shows. This is basically the very thing that Joe Biden put into place, basically for the simple fact that during the pandemic and all of that craziness, people started coming out with theories and stuff like that to basically let people know what was going on. So since that wasn't the narrative that the U.S. wanted to be out there, not several, but the big three: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Hold on, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. So the big four, really. All started banning people, and not only banning people, but they were suspending indefinitely most of them of people's um, pages or channels or Instagram accounts, stuff like that. They were banning people. So because that wasn't the narrative that they wanted the public to know about. So they gave us what they gave us with the narratives of what they wanted us to know, and thus we get this information that we have out in the world. But there are people who like going against the grain, such as myself, who don't really believe in that information of what they give us or whatever. But this board basically was to stop information that they do not approve of. Also, they said, this is what they said, it was for the reasons that they wanted to help out impoverished minority groups because of this. Because of that, how we fit into that narrative, I have no idea. But basically, they mean black folks. That's basically what they mean. The director, yeah, yeah, I guess she was the director. This lady right here, which her name is Nina ja- Jan Jankowski or Kauskowitz, Jankowskowitz. She stepped down. It was sometime this week. She stepped down from the governance board, and then the governance board got suspended. So I much rather someone tell you who knows more of the information other than myself to let you guys know what actually is happening with this. So what we'll do, we'll play this little video and we'll get going.
Hey everyone, the Misinformation Board or Disinformation Board has been suspended. Remember that board, the organization put together by President Biden to stamp out misinformation? It could be going away. Go ahead, subscribe to this channel, follow me. I'll bring you the news without any bias, without any narrative. So let's take a look right here. This is a headline in the Washington Post. And, well, their headline, take a look at this, how the Biden administration let right-wing attacks derail its disinformation efforts. That's a headline from the Washington Post. Some would say that is a biased headline, but that's what they have in the Washington Post. And the Washington Post is saying that this board has been suspended or disabled. They're also saying that the woman running the board, 33-year-old Nina Jankowicz, she offered to resign, but it's not known right now if she did resign or not. But one thing that is happening is
she resigned. Further information came out. She resigned, and basically, I forgot what she said, but it was like it was something along the lines of like being taken seriously or something like that, I believe. Because if you guys didn't see the video of her a few months back, it was ridiculous. But let's keep going.
They are blaming, in many instances, the right wing, the GOP, for their attacks on the Misinformation Board. They're saying Nina Jankowicz's life was put into jeopardy. She was threatened by several right-wing, as they're calling, conspiracy theorists. But a lot of people had issues with this because of, saying misinformation. According to the freedom of speech, you're allowed to say what you want as long as it is not a crime. That's a big deal. But the Misinformation Board was seeking out misinformation. But there's also a question, well, what the White House was saying, Jen Psaki said that the Misinformation Board was really put in place to crack down on what she said was misinformation coming to the southern border or to migrants or to people about that. And she said it was affecting Homeland Security. That was
Now, why would they need a board that basically says, hey, this whole immigration problem that you guys think is a problem, it's not a problem. It's basically disinformation, so you guys can keep going on with your daily lives. That makes no damn sense. Also, her life being threatened, that never happened as well. Who would threaten her life? Now, and I did share a tidbit of information of what I got from Judge Joe Brown. Judge Joe Brown let us know that Jankowicz, she is an immigrant herself. Her family immigrated over here from some country. I believe it was Poland, I think. And they have a little situation over in that country where they don't have freedom of speech. So the whole authoritarian government and all that of which America is trying to achieve right before our eyes, that's the very place of which her family comes from. and she didn't mind being in a position of which would stop that, which is our basically our freedom of ours to have freedom of speech and assembly and religion. But she didn't think that that was okay, so she wanted to put a stop to it. But it seems like if the right did do what they did, they put a stop to her, so they could basically keep freedom of speech the way it is since it's been written. Let's keep going.
To Jen Psaki, but I want to know what you think. What was the real reason why this disinformation or misinformation board has now been suspended? I want to know what you think. I'm not giving my opinion. I'm just giving you what happened the minute it happens. And that's why you need to subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to me on Rumble.
All right. Enough of that. But I have a article to read to you guys and girls out there, guys and gals. So basically, article says this. Just weeks after its announcement, the Department of Homeland Security's Disinformation Governance Board is reportedly being put on pause, and its leader is resigning following a wave of online pushback. The board has been plagued since the start, drawing the ire of conservatives who have compared it to the Ministry of Truth from George Orwell's 1984, which is a good book. You guys should read that. From what I know, someone is actually reading it. Well, it's an audio version of it on YouTube that I found. So you guys should type that in and go listen to it. Utah GOP Congressman Burgess Owens joined a growing movement last week to defund the board, calling it a political tool for so-called experts to reference free speech. I said referee free speech. Sorry. So the points of this is, according to the Washington Post, Nina Jankowicz, the disinformation expert tasked with leading the board, drew harsh coordinated attacks from right-wing organizers online who mischaracterized her role with the board and accused the board of censoring free speech. That's basically what they wanted to do, but they don't want to admit to it. But let's keep going. The board was described by DHS as a working group to study disinformation and has no operational authority or compatibility. So, if you guys have no operational authority, why have the board in the first place? You're basically trying to battle. Okay, so if you guys ever heard of on television, well, mostly on the news, where like an article may come out, and then let's say the article is slightly true, they'll say the fact checkers says this about the article and says that the point about this part isn't really the truth. It's basically it was a collective of fact checkers that basically were on this board to basically battle disinformation on basically social media, the news and stuff like that. All your corporate news that you see on television, they're all bought and paid for already by sponsors, and basically it's the FCC, which is a governance board as well, to help shape television to where certain things isn't put on television, but their role has been very lax within the past, I would say, maybe 5 years, because you see more on television than what I remember when I was growing up. Um, So, with that being said, um, they basically wanted to battle disinformation in a way that wouldn't hurt the, I'd say, basically wouldn't hurt the American people, but they were hurting the American people because, like I said, with certain things going on in the country and in the world, they wanted to censor us to the point to where we couldn't we couldn't actually say anything about the pandemic or the hokey pokey, or certain things like that. Like they wanted to basically stop all, if not, they wanted to stop some, if not all, uh, information getting out there to where people could see it that they would deem as harmful to the American people. But lying to us is very harmful as well. So why not allow the truth to prevail and come out and do what it does, which is inform? But they didn't want us to be informed. So let's continue with this article. But Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas admitted the announcement and rollout were poorly communicated. After the suspension of the Disinformation Board, uh, Jankowicz resigned from her position, CNN reports. How right-wing internet organized against the board, although her work was well regarded by disinformation experts, Jankowicz was quickly targeted by the very forces she dictated her career to combating, writes the Washington Post. The Post said it's a prime example of how far right influencers target an individual with mischaracterizations to discredit them online, invoking the help of millions of social media followers. Point number, I think this is three. After the report was published on Wednesday, Washington Post reporter Taylor Lorenz name became the top trending topic on Twitter, with conservative influencers like Jack. Jack. I don't even know how to say his last name, but it's spelled Posobiec. I don't know how to say that, nor can I sound it out, and I don't even know if Siri knows how to say it either. So let's see. Posobiec. Let's see if Siri knows how to say this. Possibly? I don't think that's it. But anyway, we'll go with it. Jack Possibly mocking her for a typo that appeared in an earlier version of the article. Possibly revealed, we'll just say Jack. Jack rallied his followers in opposition to the board last month, echoing comparisons to the Ministry of Truth. The board has been grossly and intentionally mischaracterized. It was never about censorship or policing speech in any manner, DHS said in a statement, according to the Associated Press. It was designed to ensure we fulfill our mission to protect the homeland while protecting core constitutional rights. So, what's next? With the pause of the Disinformation Board, its future is uncertain, said Jankowicz in a resignation letter obtained by the Associated Press. So, let's keep going. ADHS Advisory Council will review the working group's status and make recommendations in 75 days, which means they're trying to cover their fucking ass with this. They don't really care. They just want the narrative to sound good. That's all. You guys, if you guys watch this channel, you know that if you guys watch the show, you guys know that my channel, well, not my channel. If you guys watch the show, you know that my podcast this year is basically about distractions. This is basically a distraction for something bigger that's going on. No one really cares about the what was it the Disinformation Governance Board. No one really cares about this, but we do for the simple fact that you have one person in charge of information. That one person, basically, all of her career have basically uh, dedicated her time to stopping certain information from getting out there. And this is before she was even a part of the DGB. This is way before. But I'm glad that she's gone. I wasn't any of the followers on Twitter that basically uh, made her feel uncomfortable on social media. I'm just one of the people that calls people out on shit like this, and I have. I said this. I believe this was like maybe 3 podcasts ago when I first brought this up. When this got brought up, when I heard about it, I believe this as well with the whole this information board. Anything that had to do with um the pandemic and stuff like that, they wanted people to get away from even like talking about that. That's the reason why everything's basically lax now. But in the state of Maryland, of which I live, certain cases have been spiking. Also, at the same time, monkeypox is something that's going on right now as well. Who knew? But look, man, they need some sort of ace in the hole to get whatever plan that they got going on for the certain fact that for 4 years the shit was halted because of Trump being in office. So they're trying everything that they can to keep that narrative going of whatever. And you guys, if you guys didn't watch my what's it called, the Great Reset podcast I had when I was talking about the Great Reset and you own nothing and be happy and stuff like that, check that out. As well, there is the guy Klaus Schwab. He basically wrote a book the same year of the pandemic, and he put in that book about what to do in situations like that. Very evil man, very 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 evil man. So we'll if this any more information comes up about this within the next week, I'll make sure I'll bring it back up and talk about it. But what's more important right now, and for any of the black women that's watching, I'm not coming at this woman in any sort of way other than how she should be addressed. This heifer right here, basically, by the IRS, have outed her of what she's been doing with the money. Oh, it gets good too. It gets real good of what all the money of what she spent the donation money on is very shocking. So, y'all know how I do it over here. I'll always have receipts in some sort of way. So we'll allow, and this is another beautiful black woman that's talking about this. We'll have simplistic motivations. I wanted to give her a shout out for this. So, baby, if you could take it away, please.
IRS News Stories. Welcome back, everyone. So happy to have you back. In today's video, we have another edition of IRS News Stories. Make sure to check out the playlist pin in the comment section as well
Mm-hmm.
as in the description box for previous IRS News
All
Stories.
right,
This one is
girl.
courtesy of Fox News. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Let's
The
get
Black
started.
Lives Matter organization is valued in tens of millions of dollars, according to its latest tax filing with the Internal Revenue Service. According to 63 pages of tax documents acquired by the Associated Press, executives of Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation have nearly 40.
63 pages. Now, if you guys remember, either the beginning of this year, if not sometime last year, I spoke about how BLM, well, the IRS was having a problem with obtaining BLM, well, let's say the full thing. Black Lives Matter Global Organization Network or whatever the hell it's called. Whatever the hell it's called. Uh, they was having trouble obtaining their taxes. Now, what also came out that they were 2 or 3 years behind, well, 2 years behind. It was 2 years behind in back taxes from the organization. Now, the only thing that they had to do was fill out a 990, basically show what they spent the donation money on, and in the acronym of the BLM is BLM which is the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. So yeah, they basically was having trouble to where in Los Angeles and I believe in Indianapolis, somewhere in Indianapolis, that they halted the ability of them obtaining donation money. So nowhere in California can they, whatever branch that they have, they can't obtain, which I believe that's where the actual the Global Network Foundation is in Los Angeles. So they basically, but their business, the business license is in Delaware. Everybody goes puts their business in Delaware. It's good tax. There's good tax benefits in Delaware. But basically, they couldn't obtain any more donation money in certain cities, in certain states, because a lawyer was, um, a lawyer was investigating why their tax, well, it was a tax lawyer, was investigating why haven't the Black Lives Matter sent in their 2000, I believe it was their 2000 and their 2021, their 2020 and their 2021 uh tax 990s. And then this popped up just this week. Just it was probably Wednesday that this story came out that the 63-page document came out, and where 42 million in assets and 37 million of that 42 million. No, hold on, I'm reading that wrong. What's on the screen here? Uh I'll just read what she has highlighted. It says, according to 63 pages of text documents acquired by the Associated Press, Executives of the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation Incorporated have nearly 42 million in assets, which, and which they're allowed to have that, but the way that they're using those assets is bizarre. And then it says, despite sending more than 37 million from July 2020 to June 2021. So basically, that money that they're talking about, the 42 million and 37 million, that money is what's tied up into this story that the Associated Press did. Now, with that, the Associated Press did an interview with Patrisse Cullors. I will bring her picture back up. Patrisse Cullors did I guess she's on like a press run right now. They asked her, where did the money go? Is it in your possession? Does the foundation still have it? Or, you know, what is it? What's with this whole thing with the money situation? She basically said, and I read you guys maybe like, I think it was maybe 12 paragraphs of that article. Just type in Patrisse Cullors, Associated Press, or Patrisse Cullors AP interview, and they have a video up, and they also have the article with. The article has the video on there, so you can read the article and listen to the interview at the same time. But she keeps saying, no, I didn't do anything with the money. Like, all that money is the Global Foundation's money, and what she was a part of. Drum roll. I wish I had a drum roll sound on here. I think I do, but I don't know where it is. But it doesn't matter. We'll just give it a toilet flush. They basically showed. That's a long ass toilet flush too. Oh, here it is, right here. They basically showed. It basically showed where all the money is basically going. I think I'm on the right track of where I was going. But it shows how much was taken out. Oh, this is where I was at. I'm sorry. She was in charge of the collections. She was in charge of the collections. She was the director of collections. I forgot what I said last week, but reference my video last week of when I brought this up as well. Because I basically flew into her ass and basically said, where the hell did the money go? Where is the money? All right?
Give me your fucking money!
Give us the money. Where is it at? Now, I'll allow this lady to continue. I just wanted to bring that up because she's gonna tell us where the money went. And you can take it away. Simplistic motivations.
2 million in assets, despite spending more than 37 million from July of 2020 to June of 2021. The 37 million was apparently spent on grants, real estate, consultants, and other expenses.
Now, with that being said, we'll go back to that part. That money was all given to family members. So the hard-earned money that the donors gave Black Lives Matter lined the pockets of Patrisse Cullors and her family alike. But one person that wasn't actually a part of her family, but helped bring a life into her family, which would be her son, Patrisse's son, her baby father. gave him upwards of $900,000 plus dollars. That is a lot of money. A lot of money. But go ahead, motivations, hit it.
Other expenses. The Black Lives Matter received $90 million in donations after the 2020 protests and riots that were carried out in major cities across the U.S. following the death of George Floyd. The foundation reports that it invested $32 million in stocks from the $90 million in donations, according to the tax documents. Organizers tell the Associated Press that the investment is expected to become an endowment to ensure the foundation continue its work in the future. The foundation has an operating budget of $4 million. According to a board member, however, the tax filing also showed that Black Lives Matter spent nearly $6 million on a mansion in Los Angeles, according to the report.
Not only there in Los Angeles, you're forgetting about Patrisse's purchases as well. Because now, it's not foreign for a director or someone who is leading an organization that has tax write-off benefits by having the 501c3 and a 501c4. It's not foreign for a person who started an organization to take a salary for their time. It's not foreign. But the organization had upwards of $150 million in their possession. Now, this is one thing that I found out. And this is when I talked about this the first time around, before last week's video. Was it last week's video? Yeah, it was last week's video. The money of which they got in 2020, which was the summer of love, when the protest first sparked, the George Floyd protest first sparked, that Saturday. I remember like it was yesterday because my homeboy asked me why wasn't I out there with them protesting. I basically told him that's not what I do because I don't really believe in Black Lives Matter like that. But that's just me. Not saying that Black lives don't matter. I'm just saying the organization doesn't fucking matter. Nor will I utter those words because to me, and this is just me speaking, when you utter Black Lives Matter, you're also big up in the organization. That's just me. So I will always go back to we will overcome. We will overcome. Fight the power. No justice, no peace. No racist police. And whatever other phrases that are, that we say during those times. But I would never in my life ever utter Black Lives Matter other than on this show when I'm talking about. But yeah, man, like she basically, now how this came up last week was Candace Owens. She basically just asked. She went to her home because she thought that the home that she was going to was the $6 million mansion that was purchased for activists if they're being threatened. It's a six bathroom, 6-bedroom mansion, which Marilyn Monroe and someone else also frequented back in the early years. And she bought the house, which has 28 parking spaces. It has a in-ground pool. It has like a pool house or whatever it's called. I guess it's a pool house. And it sits on, I forgot how many acres of land it sits on, but it's a pretty big house. It's a pretty big house. She hosted, Patrisse Cullors hosted several events there. One of the events that she hosted at that $6 million mansion in Studio City was Joe Biden's inaugural party or something like that. I guess she had like politicians and activists and stuff there at the party. I don't know if Joe Biden went, but basically she had a party for that. But um basically Candace Owens only asked the simple question of which a lot of us is asking. Where'd the money go? And she got on Instagram Live, Patrisse Cullors, basically crying, talking about how the a right wing pundit came to her home threatening her, which she didn't. Which Candace Owens got on Instagram herself to basically say, "That's not what I did. I showed up to the home of which I thought bought bought by Black Lives Matter by way of Patrisse Cullors, not knowing that it was her personal home, because when she rung the gate, like when she Patrisse Cullors' property has a gate on it to where you have to buzz in so they know who you are. Candace Owens basically said, "Hey, can I speak to Patrisse Cullors?" A man answered that intercom system and said, "Well, who are you?" He says, She says, "I'm Candace Owens." He then gets befuddled and then tells Patrisse, and then Patrisse then goes on her little tirade on Instagram and basically says that I don't feel safe. I just want my family to be safe, my son to be safe. And it's like, look, Candace Owens did nothing other than want to ask you a few questions for a documentary that she's making. I'd love to see that documentary as well. I don't really care much for Candace Owens, but I would like to see what she says in that documentary. But she's get Patrisse Cullors gave her family, I think, around the number of uh, I think it goes to maybe like $30 million or something like that. But I'm pretty sure motivated, simplistically motivated. We'll get into that as well. So let's get back into the video. Sorry about that.
The Black Lives Matter Foundation has operated as a nonprofit sponsored by a charity before it became an independent under 501c3 nonprofit in December of 2020, which now requires it to publicly disclose its finances. Black Lives Matter was forced to defend its purchase of the multi-million dollar mansion.
Now she brought the video. The person that's doing this video brought up the point of what the. Hold on, I gotta go back because I forgot what she said.
And its purchase of the multi-million dollar mansion, its finances. 501c3 nonprofit in December of 2020, which was sponsored by a charity before it became an independent under 501c3.
Okay, I'll take it right there. Black Lives Matter Foundation has operated as a nonprofit sponsored by a charity before it became an independent 501c3 nonprofit in December 2020, requiring it to publicly disclose its finances, right? Now, one thing that she brought up as well was that, no, the one thing I wanted to bring up was, I said in a few videos back that Patrisse, and I should bring up the video so I can reference it better. So let me close this video real fast. I'll get right back to it because I gotta bring up a window. So I can go to my channel and reference what video I did. So let's see. Go to my channel. Go to my video. So this would be, I did that last week. Okay, I did that. What video was it? Alright. It's my video that is titled BLM buys $6 million home with donation money. Now, in that video, I spoke on this. How a certain organization could not, well, not an organization, it's a website that tracks donation money. That very website could not find the exact number of how much money they held in their possession. They couldn't find it. Like, it was like finding a needle in a haystack. They could not find the shit whatsoever. It wasn't even registering on their website. That's the crazy part about it. It wasn't even showing up on their website, and this is a website that's very creditable. Sorry. Now, with that being said, the website couldn't reference the donation money of how much they brought in, which came out after that they had upwards of after 2021 or 2020, I believe. 2020, that they had upwards of $150 million because they had $60 million that was already there, and then they tacked on another 90 from the protests during that summer of 2020, the summer of love. Now, since they couldn't reference how much the organization had, people started getting suspicious. The reason why people started getting suspicious is because the first story that came out about Patrisse Cullors was she bought 4 homes in a span of like a week. And one of those homes was in the Bahamas. Another one, she bought another home for her ex-wife in Atlanta. And also, what was the other purchase? Because I'm searching through my I'm trying to reference the store. And I think it's somewhere up here. I can't remember which video it was though. Yeah, it was probably one of my like breaking news shows that I do when I really don't have like my own topics to talk about. I'll just give you guys like the top news of the week. So I can't remember which video it was, but I'm pretty sure it was around earlier this year sometime. I can't remember. But when all this stuff started coming out about Patrisse buying homes for herself and other members in her family and people that she knows, people started getting suspicious of, was this money the donation money? She came out, Patrisse came out and said, no, this is from a book deal uh, that I got going on. This is a part of a film rights deal that I have, and her being a college professor. I don't know where she's a college professor at, but I think it's Berkeley, I believe. But who knows? But she basically said that this is where that money came from for me to purchase these homes. Now I said to myself, well, how much was the book deal? How much was the film rights deal? And how much is she getting paid being a professor? Because I know it's nowhere near 60 million, 90 million, or 150 million, or 37 million, or 40 million. I know it's nowhere around there. And I'm sure a film rights deal wouldn't get her 40 million off top. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. So, I ask again, where's the money?
Give me your fucking money!
So let's get back into this video.
Nonprofit in December of 2020, which now requires it to publicly disclose its finances. Black Lives Matter was forced to defend its purchase of the multi-million-dollar mansion using donor funds after it sparked criticism on social media. Please share with us in the comment section how you feel about them purchasing a mansion using donor funds. All right, the foundation said that it is using that particular incident as an opportunity for accountability, healing, truth telling, and transparency, and it is working intentionally to rebuild trust after the purchase of that $6 million home for the creator. They are apologizing for the distress that this has caused their supporters and those who work in service of Black liberation daily. The organization has responded to the backlash. They are currently working on creating a foundation that is geared towards transparency and accountability.
That's what Black Lives Matter is for. You guys signed a 501c3 and a 501c4. When they file the 990, that gives not only the government an in to know how much they got, it also puts pressure off of us to us knowing how much money is going in and being spent at Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation Incorporated. That is what those is for. So why would you create another organization on top of Black Lives Matter to give us transparency if by you having a governance body to where you're supposed to give transparency, but you're not, you then create what Joe Biden tried to create, the DGB. You're creating your own DGB, basically. That's what's going on with them. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Just be transparent off top. Why is that so hard? Jesus.
Oh shit! Oh shit! on their website, according to the foundation's secretary. All right, make sure to comment in the comment section and let us know how you.
All right. Let's hit this article. This article is about to give us all the information that we need. Y'all ready? Let's do this. It says a new text filing from the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation shows it doled. Hold on, is it dolled out or doled out? Doled out millions. Doled out millions to people in companies. Hold on, I gotta. Sorry. Terrible tale, everybody. Never leave home without it. Or never forget to leave home without it, I mean. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, so doled out millions to people and companies with close ties to the organization's co-founder Patrisse Cullors and other BLM leadership. The scrutiny comes after the release of Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation's first tax filing fully revealed the nature of its financial activity since becoming a multi-million-dollar charity following the outburst of social justice activism in 2020, stemming from the death of George Floyd. The filings reveal that Damon Turner, the father of Cullors' only child, received nearly $1 million, which the actual number is $969,459. That's how much he got off top.
Holy shit.
Let's keep going. From Black Lives Matter through his art firm, Trap Hills LLC. Turner's company was hired to produce live events and provide other creative services. Sorry, according to Shalamaya Bowsers, a member of Black Lives Matter board of directors. That name has to go. That's all I have to. Shalamaya. Wow. Anyway, a member of Black Lives Matters board of directors. ABC News reported. Additionally, a security firm run by Cullors' brother Paul received. Here's the number, y'all: $840,993.
Holy shit.
I might as well start a calculation. Where's my calculator at in here? You do have a calculator. So let me take the first number, which is 9,600. Hold on, $969,459. 00 plus his $840,993. Let's keep going. From Black Lives Matter, the filings revealed because of the nature of the organizations, Bowser said Black Lives Matter felt it could not trust former police professionals who typically run security firms, according to ABC News. Bowser's pointed out BLM GNF sought bids from other security contractors. A consulting firm run by Bowser's, who previously served as Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation Incorporated deputy executive director, and is reportedly a close associate to Cullors. Racked in 2.1 million for various management services. So, I don't even know if this calculator can handle all that. So, let's see how I could put that in. That would be 2 million, 2,100,000. How many decimal points is that? That's 2,100,000. So that is four. No, that's I said four. That's what, 6 zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be 221,000. That would be 2 million. All right, I got it. Yeah, I hope that's it. So plus, where am I at? The filings also showed in New Impact Partners LLC, a social justice organization run by the sister of Raymond Howard, another Black Lives Matter GNF board member, and the charity's operations director received nearly 110,000. So let's put that in 110,000. Add that up. So from BLM GNF for fundraising council activities. Cullors resigned from her position as Black Lives Matter's executive director a year ago after her finances came under scrutiny. However, considering she was the only person on the charity's board of directors from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, the time period covered in Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation's recent tax filings, Cullors ultimately has exclusive control over how the charity spent its funds, according to the Washington Examiner. The latest tax filing from Black Lives Matter show several other suspect payments, as well as its purchase of a nearly $6 million mansion near Malibu, California, which I told you guys in that video. That mansion, which they called it on a flip because this is what happened. Cullors, Patrisse Cullors' homeboy, which is a real estate agent, he runs his own real estate company, which I believe Patrisse funded as well. Bought the house for, I believe, $8 million, because I think the actual price was somewhere around like 10. He got it for 8. He flipped it a week later to Cullors. She bought it for $5.8 million. Just go back and reference that video. It's the very video that I told you guys to look at. It's called, and I'll say it once more, it is called Black Lives Matter Buy $6 million home with donation money. I tell you guys about how the flip happened as well. So, which has come under question since New York Magazine released an investigation into the donors' funded purchase and why it was made. The National Desk reached out to Black Lives Matter for comment on the charity's recent tax filings, but did not hear back prior to publication. If a response is received, it will be added to this story. It also will be added to this actual podcast as well. So the very number we have at the end of all of this, and I will add in the 6 million afterwards, is, I believe we have 40 million 200. Hold on, I'm reading that wrong. We have 4,020,452 dollars, and let's add the 6 million. 1, 2, 3. So, all right, so Marshall Gordon. What's going on, homie? Now, the number that we have at the end of all this is, I hope I'm reading this right, $10,020,452 is what was spent. That's what the month. That's with the house purchased and the other money that she gave to those other people. $10 million. This shit is crazy, dog. Again, yo, what's up, Marshall? Come on through, have fun. You know what I'm saying? If you a smoker, smoke. If you a drinker, drink. You know what I'm saying? It's all love here. It's all family here. If you want to come on and talk to me, the link is right there on the side there. If you want to come in, it's only 2 rules though. You have to be on camera, but if you don't want to be on camera, you have to be on camera on the backstage. Then I'll let you know to turn your camera off once I bring you up. So, she got some explaining to do. That's all I have to say. She has some goddamn explaining to do because $10 million is unaccounted for. Well, it's accounted for now, but it was unaccounted for possibly, 6 months? I'll be on camera, just let the topic get hot. All right, I got you. She got some goddamn explaining to do. And I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know. Why? Why did you spend the money? And while that was happening, why didn't you just tell us? Because your 501c3 and your 501c4 states that you are a nonprofit organization. Now, if you took a salary from your organization, okay, cool. Some people don't want to work for free. I understand. Some people do. Some people do take salaries from their nonprofit organizations. It's not unheard of. It happens. But why did you have to lie or hide or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Marshall says, and I'll bring you up. I'll bring your comments up. You said, what's the one? Okay, so your first comment was this. Where am I at? Okay, you have to have a hot topic for me to be on your on your cell fan. What? Okay, the topic must be hot for me to be on the show, fam. You'll hate just debate. I'm not. Look, homie. Come on. Look, if you want to debate this, cool. I don't care. If you want to come up, come up. Unless you want to talk about the main story that I have tonight, which is the Buffalo shooter. But I just thought that this, as well as the Disinformation Board being suspended, should be a part of this show tonight. Just saying. But anyway, my final thoughts on this is this. You hid that you were spending the money. The taxes shows that you spent the money. And now You're tucking tail and not saying anything. But this is way before. This is when. This is a week after. This is a week after Candace Owens wanted to ask you a few questions for her documentary of where the money went. And now this happened. It must be a bad day for her. Now, what are you talking about, fam? IRS pension codes. Uh, let me hear the topic. So this is the topic. It's three stories that I'm covering tonight. First story was the disinformation board, disinformation governance board being suspended and possibly never coming back out, which was a branch of Homeland Security. Covered that already. This second story, what I'm covering now, which I'm just getting off from, is Black Lives Matter. Well, I forgot what the damn article titled it. What did it title? So it says documents show Black Lives Matter Foundation directed millions to people with close ties to its leadership. Basically, what I just spoke on, Patrisse Cullors given numerous amounts of money to people that she knew on the board, which she gave, and I'll give you the numbers again. She gave her child's father $969,459 to his LLC, Trap Hills. Then she gave her brother, which runs the security firm that secures, I guess, her house and herself, $840,993. Then she gave $110,000 to the director, the board member that I guess is a director. She has an LLC as well, and then 2.1 various management services. Oh, yeah. So yeah, that's all. That's all the money accounted for right there. I know that. Do you know what's better if you come up here now instead of me having to keep going back and forth with you through Texas? So just come up here now. The link's right there. Just come up here now and we'll talk about it. I'm not going, yeah, I'm just going. You said you want to debate. Let's just debate about it. Right. I see. So, in other words, you're saying you're not going to come up here. Is that what I'm hearing? I understand that you're not concerned with Black Lives Matter's money, but there's other people who probably have donated that didn't know where this money went, and they might want to know. That's why I'm doing this show. So, if you would like to come up here once again, you can. The link's right there. Alright. We are waiting on Marshall, everyone. Now, let's see. So, I got the next story is about the Buffalo shooter. So, I'll talk about that after me and Marshall have our discussion. So, I'm waiting on him now. So, I'll take a quick break. How about that? I'll take however long it takes for Marshall to get up here, and we'll be right back. All right. Check me out in a couple minutes. Marshall, I gotta see you first before you come up here. If you don't want to be on camera, then that's fine, but I have to see you first. All right, we're back, people. I'm waiting on Marshall to come back up if he's coming up. If not, I'm moving on. So we'll give it another, I guess, I don't know, 2 minutes. I guess he left. I guess. I'm not sure. Hello, everyone. I'm going to tell you about fair use. It's the law. Warning. Right. Federal law allows citizens... I'm right here. Just come back on. But you have to turn your camera on. Okay, I'm here now. Just come back on. The link's right there. Why is my mic clipping like that? All right, test. Just hit the link again. That's all you gotta do. Hit the link. All right, now show yourself. I have to see you before you come up here. If you don't want to show yourself on the show, that's fine. But I have to see you now. Do you have a camera at all? Do you have a camera, my friend? I can't see you. Like, I can't see you at all. Still, I can't see you. When you came in, did you hit the camera and the microphone? Kid at heart, what's up, homie? How you doing? Look. Here we go. You're still not on camera. The instructions are simple. The instructions are very simple. I'll go over them again. If you would like to come up here, there's two things. There's two rules. First rule, you have to have your camera on. Second rule, if you don't want to be shown on camera, your camera must be on in the background. But then before I bring you up, I will tell you to turn your camera off. Your camera's off, Marshall. I can't see you here in the background. So since I can't see you here on the background, I cannot now bring you up. So we have an issue now. What do you want to do? Do you just want to talk from there? Because we can. Exactly. Kid at heart. Third rule. Don't talk about Fight Club. It's not hard. It's really not. It's not that hard. When you come in, it shows you hit your camera, have that on, hit your mic, have that on. Then the only thing you have to be is quiet and make sure nothing's going on in your background. No songs, no television, no nothing. Other than that, we're fine. I guess he left. So if you're not coming on to talk about this, can I move on with my show? Just put it in the chat. No, your phone doesn't work. My app, this app, Restream, it actually works. This is what I'm broadcasting to you right now. You're not, no, you're, okay. So, when you hit the link, right? When you hit the link, before you come up, hit the camera and hit your microphone. And then after that, you'll come in, hit enter, you'll come in, I'll see you down there at the bottom below of everything that I got going on. And then after that, you can come on and talk. It's not that hard. I'll do this on various places of where I go if I'm interested in talking about the topic. Kid at Heart knows he's seen me many of times on a show that I frequent sometimes. Kid at Heart, can you not say, yeah, I've seen Marcus on GMS before? Marshall, did you finish this word here? Because I don't know what the hell this is. What is that? Okay, there you go. There's Kid at Heart. Kid at Heart. Hold on, Marshall, check this out. Kid at Heart, would you like to be on camera? Would you like to be on camera? All right. Do you see how easy that was? Now, Marshall, come back in.
Look like Bushwick. Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you.
Yeah. We in here. Now, I just wanted to see if it worked.
All right. Now, Marshall, now you can come in here.
Let me get off your show looking dusty because I'm about to get my hair done after I finish cleaning up my dirty room. So
right, man.
I just wanted to test it out, see if it worked for you.
Right.
That's it.
All right, thank you.
I'll be in the time.
Now, Marshall, come up here now. As you can see, it worked. What the fuck? A non-believer of what? I'm about to move on with my show. This is starting to look like spam now. All right, I'm moving on with my show. Fuck it. All right. Hide that bullshit. All right. So the final topic of the night before I was rudely interrupted by Marshall is about the Buffalo shooter. As we know, last Saturday, the Buffalo shooter commenced in killing up to 13 people, which 10 of those people were actually killed and 3 were wounded. Before I start, and I won't show you guys the audio. I mean, I'm not the audio, the video, but I will have you guys listen to the audio. And I'm going to traumatize myself again because after I watched this foolishness the first time, okay, it's not here anymore. All right, so I can't have you guys listen to the audio because it's not here anymore. I know, right? Anyway, so Payton Gendron shot up Tops Market last Saturday, and killed 10 people, wounded 3, which the number is up to 13 people. So, from what we know, he wrote a manifesto, and I will get into that. 180-page manifesto, which my whole thing is this. I'm not saying he looks stupid, but what I am saying is this. He doesn't look like he would write a 180-page anything. He didn't look like he wrote a 2-page essay in school. So, my whole thing is this. As far as the manifesto goes, I don't believe he wrote it. That's just me. Who wrote it? Who knows? But I'm pretty sure the FBI have that information out within no time. But anyway, we are going to play. Well, I'm going to play is a video. He does have the mass shooter look, like most definitely he does. I will show you guys this video that I have. I believe this is Fox News. I think no, CBS. Okay, good. Not saying Fox News is bad to watch, but whatever.
A very difficult time for this community. It was just late yesterday that the police department released the names of the people who were either injured or killed, which include 13 people. They range in age from 20 to 86 years old. They include people like retired Buffalo police officer Aaron Salter, the security guard at Tops on the day of the shooting, as well as people like Ruth Whitfield, the mother of the city's retired fire commissioner. Many people here in Buffalo mourning and still in shock.
Why this Tops on this side of town? There's a reason why he picked this location. You have the blacks secluded to the east side. If you live over here, this is the only grocery store you really have access to.
No one could have expected the chaotic scene that unfolded at this Tops grocery store in Buffalo.
I couldn't get out the back door, and I kept hearing them closer and closer.
Kishanti Atkinson says she was working at the cash register when the gunman opened fire. She hid with coworkers in a back conference room, and they barricaded the door with a table. So you're in there praying that he doesn't come?
Yeah, and I was...
Kid at heart, if you have the ability, share this wherever you can share this to, and I guess let people know what's going on. Just asking, please, if you could. Yeah, that's all I had to say. So.
Instructing all my coworkers to just please be quiet so he won't hear us.
The shooting started around 2:30 on Saturday afternoon.
Hold on. They might say this, but I want to say this before they do. He cased the joint like a month or so before, while he was writing his manifesto, or before he wrote his manifesto. He was in the store calling black people the N-word until the security guard and I guess employees asked him to leave. And then the day before he shot 10 people, or 13, sorry, but killed 10 people. He was there the day before, which his house is like 2 to 3 hours, or I should say 2.5 to 3 hours away from this market. So we're talking. Let's say it was 3 hours. That's 3 hours there, 3 hours back. That's 6 hours in total of him driving. And he picked this place because in his manifesto he says in Buffalo, on the east side, they have a high percentage of, and I'm paraphrasing, has a high percentage of, I don't know if he said niggers or if he said African Americans. I'm not sure, but this is when he was talking about the whole replacement theory thing. Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse. Well, no, not Kyle Rittenhouse all over, because he didn't kill black people. He actually killed white folks. So, but you can only throw that as far as you can for the simple fact that, But like I was saying, he basically, if he was a good student in school, he did research. So if he did research for something that he felt was important to him, I'm not saying that he didn't graduate high school or anything. I'm just saying this. He still went out his way 3 hours. Yeah. Well, nah, that his town to what was the town called? Waukesha, Milwaukee. Was it Milwaukee or something? Wherever Waukesha is. That was actually, I think, 20 minutes away from his house. So, yeah, man, like, he didn't drive far, Kyle Rittenhouse. It only took him 20 minutes, and his parents dropped him off, which that was the funniest part of all of it. So yeah, Payton did his research. He wrote his manifesto. Then he commenced on what he said he was going to do. And this is right after, like a year or so later, if not 2 years before, he said that he was going to shoot his school up. The reason for that, who knows? But he found within himself, Kid at Heart said, man ain't have no life 3 hours for a hate crime. I know. Like, what the hell are you doing? You should be trying to get on some pussy or something. Like, at 18. Shit, at 18, I was working a full-time job with benefits trying to find some pussy. Now, what was I about to say? I forgot what I was about to say. So let's keep going.
This might be an individual with body armor.
Police say the accused gunman had driven roughly 200 miles from Conklin, New York, to kill black people, and that he was spotted there Friday, the day before the shooting.
If you ask me right now, is that kid I talked to on Friday racist? I would tell you no.
Brady Lewis said he's...
Now, this dude right here, nobody knows his record. Not saying it's important, but just to bring it up. What's his name? It was Daryl something. He was locked up in 2000 for I believe it was molestation. So he said he talked to Payton a day before. They said he talked about various topics on string theory, critical race theory, and so on and so forth. So, what I don't understand. Well, hold on. What I'm not getting is this. If Payton was the stark racist that they proclaim him to be, not saying that he's not, but that he proclaims himself to be, why did he talk to Daryl? It's an odd, right? Kid at Heart, they found this dude on the street because his words was he frequents the market every day. He buys himself a juice. He said that day of, he found Payton sitting in his car with a Genius shirt on. He then starts talking to him to see if he was a genius. This is his words. And they spoke about various topics. And then Payton left. Then the day of, he wasn't nowhere in the store that he frequents every day. Now, he has a good reason. He says that the security guards, that he didn't want anybody loitering in the store, so he said he grabbed his juice, got the hell up out of there. He also said he didn't sit at the bench he usually frequents every day. He was nowhere to be. I think he said he was somewhere else eating something, and then that. Yeah, very odd. Very odd. Now, let's continue with the video.
Spoke to the suspected gunman for more than an hour that day outside the supermarket. He said the topics range from time travel to critical race theory. You think he would have tried to kill you?
I don't know, because I obviously don't like black people, but I don't know if he would have shot me or not.
Authorities called the alleged gunman a racially motivated violent extremist.
He took my sister. He took my sister who I talk to every day.
Among the victims is 72-year-old Catherine Massey, whose sister and niece took us into her home.
No, I'm just saying some of her favorites.
Yeah. Yeah.
They told us she was a beloved pillar of the Buffalo community.
Kat was our cheerleader.
She was a matriarch.
Yeah. She was. You need something, if she can do it, she would do it for you.
We also spoke to TOPS employee Zaire Goodman, who survived a gunshot wound to the neck. The 20-year-old chose not to be on camera.
I can see you kind of bouncing up and down. And what's the emotion that you're feeling right now?
Discomfort, sadness, maybe a bit of regret.
Regret? Why?
I wonder why out of all the people the 3 people that were spared, I was one of them.
And Zaire's mother calling her son's survival divinely orchestrated. And that's something a lot of people here will be leaning on their faith, Tony.
Yeah. A lot of them saying this place will never be the same. Others saying, while it will never be the same, it may actually be better. They want to bounce back. It's a resilient community. You lived and worked here for 3 years. It's very hard to summarize a place in just a few words, but what would you want people to know about this area of Buffalo?
I think it's known as a city of good neighbors, and that's what you're going to see more of today. People will be coming out, trying to make sure everyone's okay. I'm talking to community organizers right now who are saying they want to make sure that grief counselors are on hand, because this was a traumatic event. You had people watch people being murdered, young people, a lot of folks right now just dealing with the violence and the threat that we continue to talk about. To see an 18-year-old sort of radicalized online over the period of the last 2 years during the pandemic says a lot. And it says a lot about what we need to do as a country to move forward.
Yeah. And because it's purported that the gunman targeted this area because of the zip code, everybody, in a sense, is a survivor.
Yeah.
Tarika, thank you very much.
All right. So, there was one thing I wanted to bring up before I got into the article. Was this? Hold on. Yeah, I forgot it. Now, the article says this. A white gunman motivated by hate and dressed in tactical gear. Oh, this is what I wanted to bring up. So if you guys saw the video, y'all saw how when he approached the white dude that was on the ground that he almost shot, he said sorry to him. He aimed his gun, saw he was white, sorry, and then he shot somebody else. Hell, it was a woman, a black lady, I don't know which lady it was on the ground face up, and it looked like she was like gasping for air, and he shot her in the top of the head. You saw, like I said, I traumatized myself. Her body ripped like it. Oh my gosh. It was crazy, man. All right, let's get into the article. That's what I wanted to say. So, a white gunman motivated by hate and dressed in tactical gear killed 10 people and wounded three others Saturday afternoon at a Buffalo, New York supermarket, official said. The suspect, an 18-year-old man, shot 13 people, 11 of whom are black and 2 who are white at the Tops Friendly Market. Buffalo Police Commissioner Joseph Graham, I'll call him, said Officials said he streamed the attack on a social media platform. A Twitch spokesperson said the platform has investigated and confirmed that the stream was removed less than 2 minutes after the violence started. This was pure evil. Uh, Erie County, sorry, Sheriff John Garcia said at the news conference. Straight up radically motivated hate crimes from somebody outside of our community, outside of the city of good neighbors, as the mayor said, coming into our community and trying to inflict evil upon us. An apparent manifesto with the suspect's name, shared birth date, and biographical biographically detailed in common with the suspect was posted on Google Docs on Thursday night. In it, the author claimed to have been radicalized online, appeared to adhere to the false replacement theory, which has what has been used by white killers to justify violence amongst Muslims, Latinos, and Jewish people around the world. Now let me stop there because the place that they're talking about is 4chan. Pretty sure any place on the internet, such as here on YouTube, probably has those pockets of videos that have like white nationalism on there. Uh, Hell, you could probably go on Facebook or Instagram, if not Twitter, and see that they probably have like a KKK group on there, probably somewhere. So all I'm saying is let's not focus more on the website. Let's focus on whatever he was involved in or who radicalized him as well. Because I don't feel like the blunt of this should go to Twitch or Discord or wherever. It should really be more focused on Payton and where he got these ideas from. And I'm still hearing my microphone clip for some reason. Why is that happening? Okay, I got the clip guard on, but why is it still clipping? All right. Hopefully a new firmware didn't come out, but let me keep going. Where was that? A senior law enforcement official said authorities were working to verify the document's authenticity. We are aware of the manifesto allegedly written by the suspect, and we're working to definitely confirm that he is the author. Now, like I said, who knows who wrote this? Although it has his name, his birth date, and all that, it could be anybody who wrote this. I was gonna read some of it, but I couldn't find it for the simple fact that it was too late when I tried to find it, and they probably buried it, or if not, took it off from places. It was a link that I saw here on YouTube. I clicked it, and then my protection that I have on my browsers and stuff, it basically said if you click this, you're on your own. This is just paraphrasing. So I didn't get to get the document. I tried to reach out to a couple people who actually read it. And I didn't get anything like any answer back. So we're stuck with not having it. So the law enforcement officials said the suspect Payton S. Gendron which is funny if nobody was here in the beginning of the show. It was a Payton S. Gendron who had typed something in my chat before I started the show. And I started laughing. I was like, man, if y'all don't get the fuck out of here. Anyway, of Copeland, New York, was a rain Saturday evening in Buffalo City Court on one count of murder in the first degree. The Erie County District Attorney's Office said he was he was remained without bail, and a felony hearing was scheduled for Thursday morning, according to the office. In a written statement, Attorney General Merrick B. Garland said the Justice Department is investigating this matter as a hate crime and an act of radical motivated violent extremism. The Justice Department is committed to conducting a thorough and expeditious investigation into this shooting and to seek justice for these innocent victims, Garland said. Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown said the suspect is from hours away and drove to Buffalo to commit the crime. This is the worst nightmare that any community can face, he said. A heavily armed man wearing tactical gear went to the store on Jefferson Ave about 2:30 p.m. and opened fire in the parking lot. He fatally shot 3 people and wounded 1 before entering the store and continuing to shoot, Graham said. A security guard returned fire, but the rounds didn't appear to penetrate the suspect's ballistic gear. Now, one thing on that, I watch a show here on YouTube. I suggest you guys watch it as well. It's called The Relationship Rehab. He talks about stories such as this as well. So shout out to Brian Redmond. He says, because he owns guns and he's not really a gun expert, but he knows his shit. He said the 9mm, if not Glock, that the security guard had, which he is a retired policeman. He said that even I did not ask you to do anything, Siri. He said that even if he could have penetrated the armor, the return fire would have been more catastrophic than what he put out, than what the security guard put out. So, not saying that it was inevitable for that to happen. I'm just saying, by him having ballistic gear, gear on, a ballistic helmet, he had he had body armor and stuff like that. No telling what else could have happened if the cops didn't show up. So, let's see. The suspect returned fire and fatally shot the guard, officials said. The suspect then walked through the store shooting. Responding Buffalo officers engaged the suspect in the store's vestibule, and the man responded by putting a gun to his neck, Graham said. The officers talked him into surrendering. The suspect removed some of his tactical gear before officers took him into custody. He said 4 store employees, including the security guard, who was a retired police officer, were among the 13 people shot. ECMC, a hospital in Buffalo, said it was treating 3 victims and all were stabilized. One patient was discharged Saturday night. The hospital said. The New York State Senator Tim Kennedy said in a tweet that the son of one of his staff members was among the victims. She's sitting in the hospital waiting room because her beautiful extraordinary son was shot while he was simply doing his job. He said in a statement, additional information about the victim has not been released. Jennifer Tooks said she and her cousin were shopping at Tops when she heard multiple shots coming from the front of the store. He stopped, shot again, stopped, and started shooting again, Tooks said. She said she ran to her car, passing 3 bodies in the parking lot, and called her cousin, who had hidden in the freezer until the shooting stopped. I've had this. Hold on. I'll have this in my head for the rest of my life, she said. I don't know if I'll ever be able to go into a grocery store or a store again. Now that's traumatic. So one question I got. So we've had various mass shootings here in this country. Can I ask this question? Because from all we know, only one or two of these mass shootings have been black people. Why is it that they always talk down the white suspects, but they always shoot the black suspects when they got guns? Have you ever asked yourself that question? What's the boy's name that shot the black people in the church in West Virginia? What's his name? Dylan Ruth. They gave that nigga Burger King. They talked that nigga down, gave him Burger King, talked this nigga down. For all we know, this nigga got Red Lobster. For all we know. And he shot and killed everybody in that church. And then they give him Burger King. This shit is crazy. Now, one thing we will get into tonight is what replacement theory is, because I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about this on their channels who've covered this. And I'm glad that you guys, motherfucker got some cheddar fucking biscuits that night while they was questioning him of why he did it. He was sitting there enjoying a nice lobster tail with some steak, with those those cheddar lobster potatoes, and he had some asparagus on the side. You motherfucker. Now, we're going to get into replacement theory because nobody was talking about this shit on their channel. So I said, well, since I'm the channel that likes to talk about shit in a much deeper sense, well, I'll just cover that. So this is what replacement theory is. The Great Replacement Theory, in simple terms, states that welcoming immigration policies, particularly those impacting non-white immigrants, are part of a plot designed to undermine or replace the political power and culture of white people living in Western countries. Multiple iterations of this Great Replacement Theory have been and continue to be used by anti-immigration groups, white supremacists, and others. Prominent iterations include rhetoric of invasion. The theory often uses material and violent rhetoric of a migrant invasion that must be stopped before it conquers white America. Voter replacement. The theory also sometimes incorporates the inaccurate assumption that non-white immigrants will vote a certain way, and therefore pro-immigration policies are designed by elites to diminish the political influence of white America. Now, I won't say that one of these points are true, but we got immigration from Mexico right now that we're dealing with, and we also got those, 50,000 people that Biden wanted to send over here from was it Iran? Yeah, I'll bring that up on screen, Kid at Heart. They're replacing themselves with these weak basic thoughts. Yes, they are. And not only that, get it, Hart. This is why the Roe v. Wade is going going out and is becoming a state issue instead of a federal issue. Not only that, this them allowing people from I think it was Iran. I don't want to be wrong, but from the Middle East, I'll say, letting 50,000 come from the Middle East, and then allowing the Mexican immigrants to come in as well. If they're thinking about their survival here in this country, then maybe they should quit allowing immigration to happen. Not saying immigration's bad, because most of the time, the jobs that us Americans don't want to do, they'll do. So immigration's not all that bad. But it starts becoming bad once those immigrants take over certain jobs that us Americans can barely get ourselves now. So it's not all bad. Some of the things that you say in Care Hart, I gotta approve for the simple fact that I don't want, get in trouble with YouTube. So I'm looking at your messages or whatever, and some of them I have to approve. So don't be shocked if you don't see one of your comments on here. But yeah, let's keep going. So, one, anti-Semitism is still another iteration. The theory can be found embedded in a web of other xenophobic conspiracies. I believe the next word is including anti-Semitic notions that Jewish elites are responsible for the replacement plot. Hold on. Jewish people are white. What are they replacing? However way you stick it, they're white. Just because they call themselves Jewish, which means they don't even believe what the hell they think that they are, they're white. So it doesn't fucking matter. Now, regardless of which version is referenced, proponents of the Great Replacement theory almost always paint life or death scenarios concerning the fate of white America. The theory, The theory contends that non-white immigrations must be stopped, or else the country is on, as Carlson put it, a suicidal path. As a consequence of these extensional terms, the theory often coincides directly or indirectly with calls for violence, as we saw last Saturday. Now, he said that I'm blackish. So, I'm saying, they call themselves Jewish. Take off the ish if you believe that's what you are. You will just be a Jew. They don't believe who they think that they are, so how can we believe who the fuck they are as well? Anyway, let's not get into that. But what I will get into is this next video. So how about that?
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. We start this week in mourning and in shock after the brutal and sadistic murders of 10 people in a Buffalo supermarket over the weekend. They were victims of a single shooter and his gun and a poisonous vision of America. The racist ideas espoused in the shooter's white nationalist manifesto that the wrong kind of people, non-white people, non-Christian people, are coming into this country to replace so-called white Judeo-Christian values. Now, this vile racist conspiracy theory is as old as time. And the oldest fight in this country is the fight about who the we and we the people are, who counts as a real American. And on one side, there's a vision of America as a pluralistic society across lines of language, race, and culture and religion, all of us bound together by collective self-determination in the American creed.
Before he goes on, I just want to make this one statement. America has no culture. America borrows from every other culture that is here in America, such as Italians, Irish, African Americans, or Africans, whatever you think that you are, Black or ADOS, whatever the hell you think you are. What else? Chinese, Japanese. They borrow from every single goddamn culture that comes into this country. America has no culture. America's culture is everyone else's culture, but just flipped and turned in a way that makes it American culture. Let's keep going.
And on the opposite side is the idea of America as a white man's republic. We fought this fight in words, in politics, and on the battlefield over and over throughout our country's history. I have to say that 10 or 20 years ago, and this is anecdotal observation, I don't know if it's right, but it felt like there was some kind of enduring consensus, even among politicians who pushed destructive racist policies like mass incarceration. There was a consensus to at least to pay lip service to that former idea, right? That's the guiding ethos. We are, in fact, a pluralistic, multiracial, multi-ethnic society. And to be clear, the impact of those destructive policies wasn't in any way diminished by the softened rhetoric of the people pushing it, but it was nevertheless a kind of agreement rhetorically. Worth noting, for instance, that a president like George H.W. Bush, a Republican who won the White House on the back of that racist Willie Horton ad, fear-mongering about a dangerous black man, still felt as though it was necessary to denounce the former KKK leader David Duke when he was vying to become the next Republican governor of Louisiana back in 1991.
I'd encourage anything to help David Duke go away. His message of bigotry and his racism is bad. It's bad for this country. Transcends.
This is what the country was built on, George Sr. Although most politicians do want to get away from racism and all that, but this is what you got to do. You got to bring the elephant in the room. The elephant's already here. You just got to bring it into the room of which we're speaking in. This is that. If black people get their fair shake at shit, because every other nationality that comes into this country does, they'll say, well, you got to be pulled up, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get to work. It's like, but dog, I'm even disfranchised there. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm working as hard, if not 10 times harder than the next person, but I get scraps and they get everything. How's that possible? Now, let's not get into critical race theory. A lot of people bring up critical race theory as being bad, right? It's not. It's just telling the full scale of history in this country, the very history of which people who actually voted against the shit don't want their kids to know, because the narrative of what we've been told, and I've said this before, the narrative of what we've been told in history class is the very narrative of what they want us to know about this country. Now, certain textbooks have taken slave and all this out and called us indentured servants and all that bullshit. It's like, well, if you bring critical race theory to the forefront, kids will then know how this country actually operated back then. But parents don't want that to happen well, white parents mostly. They don't want their kids knowing about the tragic history of America and what they did to get a foothold into finances in the world. All you gotta do is look at some of the major goddamn corporations, Goldman Sachs, was it J.P. Morgan? All of these old institutions, well, not institutions, but all these old companies that's been here since the beginning of this damn country, they owned slaves. So let's bring this back to present day. And then I'll let the video keep going. What will it take for, okay, let's say critical race theory doesn't happen, which is in some places it's not. Let's say it doesn't happen, right? But then the theory of white people being non-existent by the time of 2040, what then happens? And this is what Joe Biden has said. This is what's been written up various times, within the past 5 years? What happens? Now, do I think by 2040 white people won't be here anymore? Nah, I don't think so. They're gonna be here. We just don't know which ones we'll have. There are some white folks that actually like other ethnicity groups, and there are some that doesn't. We just don't know which ones won't be here. Let's keep going.
Politics. And it's so thinly veiled as to be really deeply ugly. And to the degree I have anything to say about the machinery of the Republican Party, I will see that it is fairly used to negate the influence of somebody who brings this kind of racial and bigotry, race prejudice and bigotry to the political scene.
But even that sort of professed respectability, right? This distance from that worldview started to disappear a few years ago. It was June 16th, 2015 that Donald Trump launched.
Nope, not gonna take that. People really think that racism doesn't exist in this country anymore. Like, are you serious? They'll tell us, yeah, after Obama's election, racism ceased to exist. He's not a magical ass Negro. Racism was prevalent in his time here. I'll bring it up on screen, Kid Hart, so I can read it out loud. Kid Hart says, funny part is, if they just do well by people, there wouldn't be anybody crying about racism to start. But instead, they spend so much time and energy trying to dodge, suppress, deny, hate, and lie instead of love. Goddamn right about that. Goddamn right about that. It's ridiculous. Now, when the hell did Obama become this magical ass Negro to where racism ceased to exist? There was death threats against Barack Obama's life during his presidency. It wasn't black folks saying, yeah, we gonna kill that motherfucker. It wasn't Japanese people saying, yeah, we gonna kill that motherfucker. Nor was it Italian saying that. Well, they probably did, but it was them backwater redneck country motherfuckers talking about, we're gonna kill that nigger. I live around some of those motherfuckers. And they're just as pussy as they look. They talk all the shit amongst themselves in their groups, but once black people come around, they shut the fuck up. Let's keep going.
His presidential campaign, and he launched it by accusing Mexican immigrants, the nation of Mexico, in a sort of conspiratorial fashion of sending criminals and rapists, right? And Trump's message was clear. Immigrants are destroying our way of life. We need to build a wall to keep them out. It was actually just one day later, I had forgotten this, but it was one day later on June 17th that a white supremacist brought a gun to Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston, South Carolina, and murdered 9 black churchgoers after they invited him in to pray. He later said the massacre was on behalf of his fellow white Americans. And to be clear, those two events are not directly related. But they are both examples of this line of thought that is...
Oh, they're related, sir. This is the way that they were related. Both had views of white extremism to the point to where they were so indoctrinated that they killed people. There's a relation there. Not saying, well, fuck it. Let's get into it. Dylan Roof, Payton Gendron. Dylan Roof had white supremacist materials to read. So did Payton. Dylan Roof went to a black church and shot 9 people. Payton staked out the place of where he shot at, wrote a manifesto about it, knew how many percentile-wise, how many black people was in that community, and then shot the very store of which all those black people frequent. How's there not a relation? They both had the same frame of mind. Of hatred. It's related, sir. Let's keep going.
Now, indisputably ascendant. The racist point of view that inspired the shootings in Buffalo and in Charleston also inspired a gunman to murder 11 and wound 3 more at a synagogue in Pennsylvania in 2018, and another to kill nearly 24 people and injure nearly 24 more at a Texas Walmart less than a year later. It's the same ideology, frankly, explicitly stated behind the marauders who took to the streets of Charlottesville and the campus of the University of Virginia back in 2017, chanting infamously, quote, "Jews will not replace us." And the message was heard loud and clear when Donald Trump defended them as, quote, "very fine people," even as one of them murdered a woman during the protest.
Let's stop there real fast. Because I know a lot of people will say that Donald Trump is racist, right? As I say here all the time, to protect my ass, I did not vote for Trump, nor did I vote for Biden. I didn't vote for Obama, nor did I vote for whatever that no-neck nigga's name, white dude's name is. I don't vote. All right, I'm not a liberal. I'm not a conservative. I'm not Democrat, nor am I Republican. I'm a free thinker. Now, some people will say it was Trump who brought this evil of racism back into our country. No, racism been here. The groups of which practice that racism were still here, and the very thought of black men being gunned down in the streets by police officers, that shit's been happening for centuries. I wouldn't say centuries, but it's been happening for decades. Hell, Los Angeles had, as well as New York and other places, had to get rid of, when they taught their policemen to obtaining a suspect, mainly black, they had to get rid of the rear naked chokehold for the simple fact that every black person that they were putting in that rear naked chokehold were dying. Doesn't stop there. Now, not too long ago, there was a subway shooting of they called the black man a black extremist. They went on his YouTube channel. I haven't yet to go to it because I forgot what the dude's name is. So they said he shot up the subway. He threw smoke bombs and then started shooting. Now, this is the eerie part of the story. The very black dude that they said shot the subway up called the hotline of when a crime is happening and said, "Hey, I'm seeing a picture of myself on the news stating that I just shot a subway car up." What is that politician's name though that Obama went against the second time around? Because he didn't have a neck. Come on now. His arms are short. He didn't have no neck. Like, come on now. This motherfucker was like this. Try and hold the microphone talking to that lady that said that Obama what was Middle Eastern or some shit. He's like, "Oh no, that's not true." Like, come on now. Yeah, the war hero. What was his name? Well, can we really say he was a war hero? The motherfucker got captured, and he was locked up for what, 5 years? What heroism did he do, other than not tell and only give name, rank, McCain? That was his name, John McCain. Name, rank, and what's the third thing they tell them? They tell soldiers to give when they get captured. Name, rank, and something else. Can't remember. But yeah. Crazy. I'm gonna let this video go.
I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides. You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group. Excuse me. I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue.
That's important there, that like very fine slicing of reality, right? Well, there's the really bad ones, but the ones who just wanted to protest to taking down the Robert E. Lee statue. Now, in the post-Trump world, the ubiquity of this racist messaging, this vision of the country belonging to some set of Americans, white Americans, right, is only growing on the right.
Kevin Hart is on a roll tonight. Oh shit, he said Trump said he doesn't like his heroes to be captured. Look, is it not true? Is it not true? Is that heroism? Come on. If Superman gets captured by Brainiac, although they always write it to where he gets out and he fucks him up, but let's place this into reality. If Superman gets captured by Brainiac or Metallo or whoever, is that heroism? Like he failed, basically. Like he failed. Like, look, the 4 years Trump was president had to be probably the funniest 4 years in this country. But not only that, let me get serious real fast. A lot of people are complaining about racism, right? I asked this question last year sometime, I believe, if not in 2020. This is the question that I asked. Would you much rather for racism to be covert or overt? Because me personally, I'd much rather my racism be overt. I'd much rather know who's talking shit. I'd much rather know the faces of the people who say or proclaim themselves as being racist. Why shut them up? You're giving yourself educational you're giving yourself an educational lesson, because Maya Angelou says if someone tells you who they are, believe them. So why are we so hell-bent on stopping racist motherfuckers from being racist? Because then who will we know is racist? We wouldn't know. Anyway, kid at heart, I would much rather my racist be directly in front of my face instead of a liberal being right in my face. Because if you don't know, liberals are racist. Liberals are very fucking racist. Just watch what they say. That's all you gotta do. You'll know the full story after they fucking say it. Alright, let's let this video continue.
And you can hear it on any given night on Fox News, especially Tucker Carlson, who has dedicated segment after segment of his show to the dangers of immigration. The idea that they want to take your country away from you, that they are going to make it dirtier here. And it's become practically gospel among the dangerous far-right troll caucus in Congress. Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida has pushed the line, as have Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia and Congressman Paul Gosar of Arizona, who pushed for a so-called America First caucus, which, as Punchbowl News...
Now, before he continues, there's someone that's very important, and it's this woman right here. The reason why I say she's important is because of this. I actually heard her actually speak on the Tim Pool podcast, Timcast IRL. She was on there twice. And this is the very thing that she said. So, what we know when it comes to Congress, they sign bills and stuff like this. But we didn't know at what extreme of how they were signing these bills. So, this is what happens. The bill probably is like this fucking tall. And it's probably like 8,000 pages. Well, one person cannot read 8,000 pages within, let's say they have a time limit of like 2 hours. Nobody can read 8,000 pages in 2 hours. So, then it goes to the floor. They vote yay or nay if it should come in, and then it becomes a law. What this woman does, she halts that shit. How about she goes, how about we read this a little bit more, like to see what it actually entails? Because y'all probably only read like 10 to 20 pages of this shit, and y'all don't even know what it says in its entirety. So y'all can hate Republicans all y'all want. Y'all can hate them all y'all want. But some of them, and not saying not a Democrat isn't in there like that, but we have to have these types of people in office because they help disrupt shit. The same shit that used to happen isn't really happening anymore. This one lady it's somebody else. It's a guy. I think he's a Republican as well. That was on Timcast IRL. They didn't get into depth of shit, but they spoke on shit. So I give people recommendations. Go to Timcast IRL or type in Timcast IRL and type in Marjorie Taylor Greene. You'll see the very 2 times she was on there. And just listen. It's a 2-hour podcast. I usually stop listening after when they start doing super chats, when they start rallying off the questions from the super chats. That's when I turn it off. Oh yeah, check that out because she talks about that shit in its entirety. But this video's been up here way too long, so let's keep
Reports was linked to a document that argued American culture is, quote, strengthened by a common respect for uniquely Anglo-Saxon political traditions. Now, Green and Gosar tried to distance themselves from the document, but they also both appeared at a white nationalist conference organized by a right-wing extremist who has publicly cast doubt on the Holocaust. The event's website even contains a bold header on its main page reading, quote, our country is being destroyed. We're trying to save it. Now, many Republicans will say that the views of the party's fringe do not represent them as a whole. But that does not explain why Elise Stefanik, a member of party leadership, the third most powerful Republican in the House, ascending to that role with the backing of Donald Trump, ran an ad last year warning, quote, radical Democrats are planning their most aggressive move yet, a permanent election insurrection. Their plan to grant amnesty to 11 million illegal immigrants will overthrow our current electorate and create a permanent liberal majority in Washington. That ad resurrected over the weekend in light of Saturday's horrific shooting. And while Stefanik herself issued the usual condolences, today her spokesperson issued a statement in which she again raised the specter of outside forces overtaking American democracy, saying the Congresswoman, quote, opposes mass amnesty for illegal immigrants and Joe Biden's wide open border. The border isn't wide open.
Hold on, I didn't realize that this video was 9 minutes. I'll let it keep going. I'm probably gonna get a copyright strike, but anyway, fuck it.
She opposes giving illegal immigrants the right to vote, which New York Democrats support, have made legal in New York City. Okay, fine. There's debate about immigration policy. That's perfectly fine. That's not what's going on in that ad. This view, fundamentally, is everywhere in the Republican Party, among the fringe and the establishment alike. And again, honestly, it's the view that animated the January 6th insurrection. The racist idea that fake Americans, the wrong Americans, not real Americans, those Americans, the usurpers, the invaders, the replacers, have taken what's rightfully ours.
Kenneth Hart, you probably might disagree with me on this when I say this, but hear me out first. Some people will say that Trump is which sparked January 6th by what he said. But we all know that Trump gave a speech right before the January 6th riots happened. Now, I can't say that he said what he said figuratively or literally. But then this happened. Let's just say it was a ploy all along. As we all know, and it's been various publications that's talked about this, that police were amongst the group and breaking windows and stuff and opening barricades and doors and stuff like that. So can we really say Trump was the blame for January 6th, or was this plan already in effect? Because if you guys don't remember, there was a video floating around of a white dude. I believe he either had a gun or a knife on him in the video. And he said, if Trump isn't reelected or isn't elected in the next election, something bad is going to happen. Now, can we actually say that Trump helped get that up and going, or was the plan already in effect? Just a question I got out. I just wanted to get out. You guys answer now.
It used to be a view that at least publicly was relegated to fringe message boards and right-wing talk radio. Not quite something a member of the establishment in good standing could just stand up and espouse publicly. But it is now increasingly the dominant view. And inevitably, violence flows from that. When people's hearts are so twisted by racism and hatred and the paranoid obsession their country is being stolen, taken away, well, what do I do? They begin to justify violence, murder, radicalized terror is the only solution. And again, to be clear, I don't think anyone I just mentioned is intentionally inciting violence or mass murder. That's not really the point, because even if the violence doesn't happen, even if this weekend had not borne witness to mass murder in a grocery store the shooter traveled to because of the black people there, even if that had not happened, it is still the case that this vile zero-sum view of American life, so popular right now, ascendant in one of our two major party coalitions, is completely poisonous and incompatible with the vision of a country that we all share together.
Yeah, those feelings were already there. You gotta remember, that video came out, I believe, a month before the election, if not 2 months before. Of that guy saying that. And then January 6th happened. But I was just putting that question out there. I just wanted, to see. I just wanted to test the temperature of the room. That's all. All right. So, Get a Heart says, what I can't understand, how does a grown man spend so much time on hate? That shit tiring, and who are you without it? Exactly. It also, look, Kid at Heart, have you ever heard the expression, it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile? That's exactly what the fuck they're going through. It takes more muscles in your face to frown than it does to smile. Now, another thing I want to get into. Now we learned what replacement theory is. We're about to learn where it came from. Now, I'm about to mess this word up. I'd rather write it in first instead of trying to sound it out. Yeah, Kid at Heart, it takes more muscles in your body to frown. In your face to frown than it does to smile. I don't know who came up with that phrase, but they say it's true. Okay, antecedents, that's what the word is. Antecedents and precursors to the Great Replacement Theory have always been present in the American debate on immigration. Recognizing the border history, we can trace the replacement theory's modern use from French nationalist authors to French alt-right xenophobes, and onto its introduction into more mainstream channels. In 1973, the French author Jean Raspil wrote a novel titled The Camp of the Saints, an apocalyptic tale that attempts to depict the destruction of white Western society at the hands of mass immigration from the global South. Raspil's novel took hold among American white supremacist and anti-immigration groups in the 1980s and 1990s, and remains a touchstone today for prominent anti-immigration hardliners such as Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon. In 2012, Renard Camus, another French heavily influenced by Raspils, authored a book titled The Great Replacement. In the book, Camus argues the white Europeans are being reverse colonized by black and brown immigrants who are flooding the continent in what amounts to an extinction level event. That's rather odd. Throughout the 2010s, the term in the theory slowly began to catch hold among fringe alt-right and white supremacist figures. By 2017, "You will not replace us" was a prominent slogan among white supremacists who gather at the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. As asylum-seeking migrants sought refuge in southern Europe and then on the U.S. Mexico border, the theory began to emerge from more mainstream sources in 2017. More mainstream sources. In 2017, then Republican Steve King, Representative Steve King, Republican from Iowa, tweeted, "We can't restore our civilization with somebody else's babies." In 2019, the theory was referenced by a prominent far-right French politician named Marine Le Pen. Tucker Carlson and other Fox News hosts began making repeated references to the replacement theory in their segments on immigration. Well, we gotta look at it like this. So there's but so many jobs in this country. Some people don't want to do certain jobs, so that means that the immigrants get those jobs. But this is one thing that we never look at. Where are we placing all these people? Because freaking Los Angeles is overran. Like, it's heavenly overran. As well, I'll get to you comment in a minute, Kid Hart. So is most major cities in the country. Is overran by not only immigration, but most cities are overpopulated, like, nonetheless. So where are they placing all these people at? Because there's but so much food, and that's why we have the census, is because so that information can be taken to, our food, I was about to call them food vendors, to people who make our food and stuff, so they know that they come up with whatever number that they got to come up with. If you work in a manufacturing space like myself, they have a number of what we have to make a week, to how much will do within a week, to how much we need within a month to keep our stock up. I don't think that's even the right word, but basically we have to replenish what gets taken out, basically. So that's basically the whole mindset of what the census is in certain aspects. But then we'll have to take account of how many more people are here to then, that to food to be made for people or whatever. And we're already experiencing a food shortage now, so who knows what the hell will happen at that point once the migrants are accounted for. So that's just what I'm saying there. Kenneth Hart says, let me bring your first comment up. Kenneth Hart says, sad part is ain't nobody trying to replace them. The arrogance, ain't nobody thinking about y'all that much. You goddamn right. Ain't nobody thinking about white folks. And look, Kenneth Hart, I don't know if you knew this or not, but up until the last census, which was in 2020, Black people were 13% in this country. Do you know that our population percentage went down 1%? Black people are now 12% in this country. No, wrong one. Thank you, Kenneth Hart. I try. I try to sound smart. I try. You also said the rest empty, under the undeveloped land. Right. And you also says right here, it should be mandatory that everyone grows some portion of their own food. This would relieve some pressure off of everyone. You goddamn right about that. You man, if I could like your comment, I would. Can I put a star here? I'll put a star there. I like that. I like that. You also said no that, so we moving. I hope. Look, if I had the means, I would. Hide that bullshit. Hide that bullshit. So yeah, hate-filled theories fueled by dark web. Now, this is one thing. Before I even reference or I actually read this article, this is what I wanted to say when I was talking about Payton earlier. They said that Payton, right, went on to 4chan or wherever he was at to learn all of this racist rhetoric and stuff, right? And I said also earlier that we shouldn't denigrate Twitch and Discord for the bullshit that he was doing or whatever. But this part of the article says hate-filled theories fueled by the dark web. Now, I've never been on the dark web, but I heard of some funky shit that happens on the dark web. Oh, okay, the 12% thing. Thank you, man. Yeah, black people went down 1% in this country. So, if we look at white people's numbers compared to ours, and every other ethnicity group in this country, black people will probably be close to the bottom, I would say. I believe, I want to say the Asian community is probably right underneath of us, I believe. I'm not sure about that. I don't even know how to American population by percentage. Now I need to buy like racial group. American population by percentage by race, I should say, maybe. Race and no. Demographic of the United States. No, that's wiki. Let's see. 2020 census. Let's see what this says. Census.gov. See if they give me a good percentage here. Oh shit. Okay, let me bring this on screen. Let me drop the chat off the screen for a minute so y'all can actually see this, and I'm gonna blow this up. Alright. So it says the 2020 census shows figures 1, 2, and 3. The white population remain the largest race or ethnicity group in the United States with 204.3 million people identified as race. Okay. As hold on, where am I? Identified as white alone. Overall, 235.4 million people reported white alone or in combination with another group. That also factors in like people from the Middle East that also claim white. They don't actually have a set minority group here in this country. So when they write on their census what their race and creed is, they write white or they circle white or whatever that you do on the census. Reported white alone. Okay, it said that. However, the white alone population decreased by 8.6% since 2010. So yeah, 2020. Sorry, yeah, that's what I'm. Well, no, it says right here 2010. The multiracial population has changed considerably since 2010. It was measured at 9 million people in 2010 and is now 33.8 million people in 2020. 276 percent increase, which you can't have 200 over. You can't have over 100% because percent means per 100. So it's 100% and a 76%. The combination multiracial population for all race groups account for most of the overall change in each racial category. Wow. All the race alone or in combination group experience increases. The some other race alone or in combination group for 49.9 million increased 129%, surpassing the black or African American population 46.9 million as the second largest race alone or in combination group. The next largest racial populations were the Asian alone or in combination groups, 24 million, the American Indian and Alaskan Native alone or in combination group, 9.7 million, and the Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islander alone or in combination group, 1.6 million. The Hispanic or Latino population, which includes people of any race, was 62.1 million in 2020. The Hispanic or Latino population grew 23% because big women always having babies, while the population that was not or Hispanic or Latino origin grew 4.3% since 2010. Jesus. So it is important to note that these data comparisons between the 2020 census and 2010 census race data should be made with caution, taking into account the improvements we have made to the Hispanic origin and race questions, and the ways we code what people tell us. Well, we just got some information for our asses. Kenneth Hart says some of these white Hispanics, most well, not say Hispanic, Latinos believe that they're white. Most of them. Hispanics, which is a group of people that didn't want to be thought of as being black, that is who Hispanics are. Also, you said they not as big as people think. People be claiming shit they not. Exactly. So I was gonna get into this. Yeah, show that. Okay, the idea of whiteness, shaking my head, is a curse even to themselves. You're right. So this next part, hate-filled theories filled by the dark web. Gendron insists that his views weren't influenced by his parents, because what people think about his parents isn't true. His parents are actually civil engineers, which they see white and black folk and other ethnicity groups every fucking day. So, yeah. So some people was blaming his parents. So, but let's take into caution before we start to blame people for shit. Yes, we don't know Gendron's upbringing, nor do we know his parents that well. So it could be a possibility, could not be a possibility. We don't know. All right. So, influenced by his parents, friends, or anyone else in his life. Instead, he writes, it started when he was 16 and pandemic boredom drove him into the darker corners of the web. I was not born racist nor grew up to be racist, he said. He cites a manifesto posted by the man who in 2019 shot to death 51 Muslim worshippers at mosques and Christchurch, New Zealand, and wounded dozens more. Gendron's manifesto. Well, hold on before I go further. That's Payton's influence. Is the guy who was in New Zealand that shot up that damn mosque. That is his influence in all of this. Other than him being bored, looking at shit to indoctrinate himself. But the guy over there, possibly Dylan Roof and other ones, are probably his main influences. This is what we blame this on. Could blame it on his parents, but we don't know that yet. But the New Zealand shooter in Christchurch, New Zealand, is the culprit here. All right. Gendron's manifesto at times follows a similar question and answer format to the New Zealand document, copying some of the phrase word for word. Gendron points to posts on 4chan and other sites that cater to white supremacists as connecting him with the hate-filled theories. I never even saw this information until I found these sites, he wrote. Claude Welch Jr., a retired University of Buffalo professor of political science and highly regarded terrorism expert, described Gendron's actions as an act of domestic terrorism, fueled by racist manifestos. Unfortunately, some content providers are unwilling to carry out significant attention to such provocative documents. Provocative documents. So I said provocation. While still recognizing the constitutional right of free speech, he said. But you know whose manifesto he never referenced? A man by the name of Christopher Dorner. Who's read that manifesto? Kenneth Hart, did you read that manifesto? I was at work. I was 23 years old. I was at work. I'm working in manufacturing, medical manufacturing at that, so I should have never had that next to me. But I'm reading as I'm working. I read all, I forgot how many pages it was. But I think I copied and pasted to my notes just a few months back and reread it again. Well, it's already out of hand, but y'all get the point. They fail just like these systems put protective measures on your computer and phones for your kids. Shit getting out of hand. Goddamn right, shit's getting out of hand. But yeah, I bet you didn't reference Christopher Dorner's manifesto, of which he writes. The very reason why I'm doing this is because I witnessed a fellow cop of mine, doing some bullshit to a mentally ill suspect. Heard a lot about it, never read it though. Look, if you're not doing anything with your day, one of these days, look the manifesto up. He states the reason why he did that before he did it is because he didn't like what happened. He reported it to his superior. His superior suspended him for it. Then he started going through all kinds of legal trouble with that because he wanted to fight it. Then they fired him. And that's what set everything in motion. He said, you know what? Fuck this bullshit. Then he also writes, and this was the kicker, because they forgot who the fuck they hired. He was ex-military, Marine. No, I think it was Army, I believe. He was a sharpshooter that carried out various missions in Iraq. Or let's say the War on Terror. Let's just say that. Let's not pinpoint a place. Various missions he carried out sharpshooting during the War on Terror. He was so heavily decorated in his career as being a being in the military that it allowed him certain perks in the normal world, such as being able to purchase fully automatic weapons and suppressors. Such as, when somebody puts a silencer on their gun, he had permission to buy those. And then what happens? He starts commencing in mayhem. I believe he shot one of the officer's daughters point blank range. He also killed numerous other police officers' family members. He took out a police officer, I believe. I believe he had like 5 bodies on him within I think it was like an hour or two. Now, I'm not gonna downplay this situation when I say this. We think Payton was trained. Y'all ain't saw shit when it comes to Christopher Dorner. Y'all ain't saw a goddamn thing. Now, although Christopher Dorner died in a firebombing of which the police did because they shot the cabin that he was in up heavenly, which I don't know that he died from that, but then they wanted to put icing on the cake and throw a firebomb in there. There was no talking him down, because you know why? Because when you kill a police officer, all bets are off. But guess what he did? But guess what Payton did? Guess what Payton did? He shot and killed an ex-police sergeant, I believe. Now, I thought it was blue forever. Blue until you threw. But they didn't once shoot their gun. Whew. All right. Did I read the rest of that? Yes, I did. So, racist and anti-Semitic beliefs outlined. So, the accused shooter fills page after page of his manifesto with racist and anti-Semitic beliefs. The document is littered with bigoted cartoons, photos, and statements trafficking in familiar stereotypes and tropes. Gendron subscribed to the racist Great Replacement theory, which holds that white people should fear losing their traditional culture to immigrants and other people of color whose population is growing faster than that of whites of European descent. I think What this tells us is how deep into the swamp of racial hate we have gone as a nation. Poduk said, "Wow." But I would say that his findings is not that much off, but they're really fucking off for the simple fact that he didn't do his research, I would say. So he did his research enough to write his manifesto. He just didn't he didn't research enough to be more accurate on his manifesto, I'm saying. Kid Hart said, wish he would have went into training people. Who, Christopher Dornick? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was making some sort of money on the side. But he was retired. No, I think you can't get your retirement until you're 40 from the military. But he was close enough to it. He was close enough to his army retirement of getting his army retirement. So I got this last video. I believe it's my last video. Yes, it's my last video. And it's talking about Buffalo shooters, racist diatribe, plotted killing. All right, and this goes along with a detailed attack plan that I have set. So
Federal authorities continue examining a hate-filled document that references the Buffalo shooting rampage. The News 4 Investigates team has been sifting through this lengthy document. Tonight, we hear from an expert on domestic terrorism and extremism. Luke Moretti has the latest.
For an active shooter mass casualty incident, go for 21 F20 and B43.
The document describes in chilling detail plans for the Buffalo store attack that left 10 people dead and 3 wounded. News 4 Investigates has obtained the 180-page document, purportedly written by the 18-year-old charged in Saturday's shooting rampage.
Oh, wait, one second. One place I know where somebody actually read some of the manifesto on camera here on YouTube. Go on to Uncle Hotep's channel. It should be his. Well, he's done some live since then. But what the hell is that damn video called? Because I'll direct you guys right to it. Uncle Hotep. I don't even know if he took it down yet or not. On the channel. No, it's still up. It's called Uncle Hotep Factor Treadstone Session. It's an hour and 25-second video. He reads some of the manifesto there. So what I should do is actually show you. That's what I should do. Right here, this very video that my cursor keeps going on and off of. Look for that video. He actually reads some of it on camera. All right. So, let's continue with the video.
It includes a sketch of the store and provides details about why the neighborhood was targeted. Zip code 14208 in Buffalo has the highest black percentage that is close enough to where I live, the document states. I will be wearing decent body armor and a helmet to protect from other people's firearms. Video will be live streamed and manifesto published online to increase coverage and spread my beliefs.
If you read the manifesto, he intended to make sure that other people would see what happened in real time here, so they would consider other acts as well. That's what has to shut down right now.
The document references the attack continuing once the shooter left the store on Jefferson Avenue. I will go to my car and make it south on Jefferson Ave. Shoot at blacks on the street. I should be stopped by police officers eventually, then surrender to them. Or if I find another decent location the day of the attack, citing an example of a big box store, I'll head there.
Someone not from this community, that did not know this community, that came here to take as many black lives as possible.
The posting also listed goals for the attack. Kill as many blacks as possible. Avoid dying. Spread ideals. The screed was riddled with white supremacist notions and racist theories.
So this is a trend we've seen with several other mass shooters.
John Lewis, a researcher with George Washington University's program on extremism, says it reads like an operational manual.
These individuals want not just to be martyrs, to be memorialized, to be remembered and celebrated, but they want individuals to copy them. They want individuals to say, you know what, if this guy can do it with a couple $1,000s and a map of a store and no real training or whatever, then so can I.
Sadly, Lewis says the goal for like-minded extremists is more violence.
They're all hoping to be the ones who can kind of do the most violence to start what they view as the collapse of the whole system.
The U.S. Justice Department continues investigating the Buffalo shooting as a hate crime and an act of racially motivated violent extremism. Luke Moretti, News 4.
All right, so what the article I have here says is intentionally Gendron writes in his manifesto he considered taking his own life, but then he began planning a mass shooting. The manifesto has a numbering account of detail on the various equipment Gendron purchased, including his critiques of the gear written in the style of online shopping reviews, and shows how Gendron's modified his rifle, which is illegal, and to make them even deadlier. Gendron states in the document that his goals are to kill as many blacks as possible, avoid dying, and spread ideas or ideals. Gendron explained that he targeted the 14208 zip code because it's the area that is closest to his home in Coquitlam, near Binghamton, that has the highest proportion of black residents. He opted to stay in New York because he believes with its strict gun laws, he was less likely to encounter someone who could use a high-powered weapon to slow or stop his attack. Now, that's one thing I wanted to say. Oh yeah, when he says I want to kill as many blacks as possible, he wasn't going to stop there. Also, what he writes, I believe Uncle Hotep talks about this. If not, I heard somewhere else. That he was going to get back in his car and shoot any black person he saw on the street. Now, how long... It doesn't matter. But thank God they got him. That's all I really have to say with that. So, let me see. And he bolstered his odds of surviving by outfitting himself in body armor and other tactical gear and bringing along a medical kit. Now, this is one thing I wanna ask. Matter of fact, let's ask Google. Because what I thought, you couldn't buy a gun at the age of 18. Got hey Marshall, what you talking about, dog? Let me show you that. It's a trick. I guess I can show that. And you also write it's in his bitch. I don't know what that means. The devil beating his wife. Man, why are you paying attention to me? Your app doesn't even work, man. This guy. Okay, so the federal age to buy a gun. Legal age, for handguns. Remains 21. So who bought him his weapon? His parents. Gun laws bearing sales to people under 21 are, with federal law imposed on the age limit of 21 for handgun purchase, the age limit for buying long guns is 18. Okay. All right. Which he did have a rifle, so yeah. If you get a handgun, it's 21. If you buy shotgun, I think he had an AR-15, which is a rifle. Most of the time, it can be considered a pistol, depending on what variation you have of it. I'm in a chat room and don't talk to me. All right, Marshall, you're done, sir. You're done. You're done, my friend. Have a nice night. Unwanted. Yes, that one right there. Let's see. Yeah. All right, sir. You're done for the night on this channel, and you have a nice night. All right. Let's see. What country you from, Marshall? That may be why it's not working. Yeah, but he's done for the night. I'll let him go. So I was at the body armor, everything that he got. So he said he selected the Tops Market on Jefferson Avenue because he wanted to find a busy store within his targeted neighborhood. And he selected a time to attack 4 p.m. on a Friday when it would be crowded. It's not clear why. It's not clear why he carried out the attack at 2:30 p.m. on a Saturday. The manifesto indicates he practiced going through the motions of the deadly attack. It includes a hand-drawn map of the store and a step-by-step plan for what he would do leading up to the attack and once he got inside the store. On the day of the attack, he writes he planned to have corned beef hash for breakfast at home, lunch at McDonald's after arriving in town, and take one last walk through the store before he geared up for the assault. The manifesto in chilling, matter-of-fact language details how he planned to shoot to kill the armed security guard he knew would be standing at the door. Standing at the door was Aaron Salter Jr., a retired Buffalo police officer who died a hero, authorities said, in trying to stop Gendron's before moving methodically through the store, fatally shooting as many black people as possible. Gendron live streamed the shooting through a camera on his helmet linked to the internet. Police said he killed 10 people and wounded 3 others, shattering a community. He had planned to drive off, shooting more black people before he expected police to reach him. Instead, he meekly surrendered at the store. Yeah, this is what he wrote, man. This is exactly what he wrote. It's very disgusting what he did too. But to write about it though, how long I've been on here? For 3 hours and 38 minutes. So I think the last thing that I'll talk about, because I have like 18 pages worth of shit, but I think that I've been on here way too long. So yeah, corned beef hash and a McNasty for lunch. Corned beef hash for lunch, for breakfast. Sorry, and McDonald's for lunch. I think that is the rest of it is the truth about racism in America. So I might read a few. Paragraphs from here, and then I'm gonna head on off. So, the truth about racism in America. Many of the most powerful arguments for racial justice in this country have been mere statements of fact. Nearly a century before the sanitation strike in 1879, Chief Standing Bear of the Ponca tribe told a judge, "I am a man." That case became the first in U.S. law to acknowledge Native Americans as persons. Even earlier, abolitionists circulated coins depicted an enslaved person that read, "I am not a man and a brother." Ain't I a woman? A phrase attributed to Sojourner Truth also helped advance the abolitionist cause. And in the 1920s and 30s, at the height of racist terrorism in the United States, the NAACP flew a flag from its New York City headquarters. A man was lynched yesterday. The truth, plain and stark. There is a deeply ingrained idea, at least as old as the New Testament book of John, that honestly brings liberation. The truth shall make you free, Jesus is quoted as saying. It's a phrase that has long since transcended its religious context to become a cultural and axiom as sort of truth about truth itself. On May 25th, 2020, a black man told the truth, but it did not make him free. "I can't breathe," George Floyd repeatedly more than 20 times in the violent minutes leading up to his death on a Minneapolis street. In transcript and video, the police officers who participated in his murder seemed impervious to his pleas, or even insulted by them. But Floyd persisted in crying at that simple, urgent truth. "I can't breathe. I can't breathe," he said in one of his final attempts. I'm probably just died this way. Floyd's murderer, which came on the heels of reports that Louisville police had shot Breonna Taylor dead in her home, and 3 white men had shot Ahmaud Arbery dead while he was out on a run in Georgia, brought millions of demonstrators to the streets. They rallied under contemporary successors in the long line of plain truth-telling slogans. "We can't breathe, Black Lives Matter." But 2 years after the summer that was dubbed a reckoning and uprising, how much closer are we to freedom? Police have killed more than 2,000 people since Floyd, including over 350 so far this year. Just last month, Patrick, I don't know how to say his last name, so we'll just keep it at Patrick. But his last name is spelled Lyoya. A 26-year-old black man, a refugee from Democratic Republic of the Congo, was shot in the back of the head by police in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Patrick's killing, like most others since Floyd, was met with a muted public reaction, barely comparable to the outcry since 2020. I find myself wondering what the country did with all the black pain it watched and read and heard. What actually happened when we black people are all people dedicated to the advancement in advancing justice, dare to tell the truth. The national appetite for black truth-telling seems, on some days, to have been saddened. Sad. After months of black death and grief playing on an endless loop on social media, after a best-selling book offering lessons in anti-racism after countless personal testimonies and news stories and academic studies detailing the cost of systematic racism. Support the Black Lives Matter movement has dropped from record highs. Many people have turned their focus elsewhere. The era has changed. 2 years ago was just a very different time. Uh, Tolly Washington tells me over the phone. In May 2020, Washington had just finished her junior year of college at Salem State University. She was due to fly to California for an internship at the University of California, Berkeley. Instead, she found herself rallying young people on social media to march for Black Lives, along with two other young black women. Sorry, she led one of the largest protests in Boston that summer. That march grew into a movement in an organization, Black Boston, which Washington directs. For me, hold on. I hope Black Boston is nothing like Black Lives Matter. She also says, for me and my team just organizing in these spaces, I feel like it's been a little bit harder recently to get people engaged, she says. The sense of urgency that propelled her to change the course of her career that drew thousands of Boston streets and millions to streets worldwide, she simply doesn't see it anymore. Washington points to a number of factors driving the change: the return of ordinary routines and responsibilities that in the early months of the pandemic had disappeared from many people's lives, leaving them to focus on current affairs and their own political rage. The election of a Democratic president, which she suspected led many of the left to feel that their work was done. That's a sad thing to say, but it wasn't. But anyway, let's keep going. The desire after pushing a stretch of emotional taxing months to take a step back from the news, but there is also the long history of white backlash amongst racial progress. Jim Crow followed on the heels of black legal and political gains of the Reconstruction era. Lynching spiked in 1920s, in part because of the relative freedom some black men experienced abroad while fighting in World War One. Many historians and political theorists have likewise deemed the election of Donald Trump, which his open racism, a backlash amongst the Obama years. But the Obama years is when this shit started. What the fuck is wrong with people? It was his last term in 2014, which was 2 years after he got elected, was when all this shit started being put on the mainstream news. The last time we saw something like that was what was his name? Sean King. That was back in early 2000. And the last time we saw it before that was the beating of I don't want to get his name wrong. Rodney King. That was the last time before Sean King that we saw a national news story of a black man being killed or beaten on the streets. So I would say that racism never left. It's always been here. So these days, reactionaries seem to be trying to kill movement toward racial justice, but also truth of any kind. Lawmakers from Texas to Montana to Rhode Island have attempted to ban discussion of race and other concepts they deem divisive in classrooms. Florida is trying to prevent school children from learning about both race and queerness. Some legislators have reached beyond young people's education, attempting to limit the books that public libraries circulate. Historian Daphne Chamberlain has spent her career advising universities and other institutions on how to commemorate the civil rights movement through memorials and educational programming. She sees the urgent stakes of this political movement. We have to be truthful in the narrative that we're telling because we are not truthful. We are not truthful. Things get lost, says Chamberlain, who is vice president and associate history professor at Cullors College, a historically black college in Mississippi. Let's see. Chamberlain sees efforts to erase accurate portrayals of U.S. history and partly response to young people's activism over the past 2 years, which she says follows in a long tradition of young and black children and teens in particular being on the front lines of social change. And sidelining the truth is not new, she says. Sanitizing historical accounts can overstate national progress toward racial justice, she says, while at the same time minimizing civil rights activists' names, genuine triumphs, and harrowing trials. We're often painting this watered down picture that diminishes the value of the work of people have done. Telling the truth about race in a country rife with racism can present a paradox. Even true statements can be divorced from their context, distorted or misrepresented, and absorbed into the logic of white supremacy. This danger was made clear by a recent study showing the reporting of racial disparities in COVID-19 risks in many cases actually reduced white people's empathy and support for protective measures. Publicizing racial health disparities has the potential to create a various cycle wherein raising awareness reduces support for the very policies that could protect public health and reduce disparities. The study authors wrote. Damn, why am I having so much hard time? Now, such findings have people committed to the truth in a different position. And I think I'll end it there because I've been on here too long. But, get it hard if you're still here, if you want to come up and talk about this within, I don't know, let's say like 10 minutes. You want to come up here real fast and talk to me, you can. If not, I'll end the show. Everyone, if you could, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, Cat Hart, if you're still here, if you want to come up, you can. And just talk for a few minutes or so. It's almost 10:30. Alright, so everybody, delete these photos real fast and I can get us on out of here. delete that. And it's a Patrisse Cullors picture that I still have somewhere that I don't know where the hell it's at in my picture list. I'll find it. But anyway, people, hey, I thank y'all for coming here. And I'm sorry about that if it was a lot to process, but hey, it's shit. It's the shit that we go through. But yeah, let me start my theme music, and I'm gonna get on up out of here. All right, y'all. I thank you guys for coming through here, and having a good time with me tonight. Marcus Speaks Live Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, I start 5 minutes early just so I can get things in the background ready, such as like the link to come up here and talk and other things that I post out on like social media. But at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the show starts. Come on in here, roll up something, pour up something if you want. I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to take you there when I do my show, for the simple fact that, I like having a good time while, educating people, that's all. As well, on Fridays, if anyone is interested, I do a game stream called Marcus Speaks Play. Not only here on the main channel on Marcus Speaks, but also on Marcus Speaks Play. I do a game stream. Right now I am playing Horizon Forbidden West. Like I said, I did say last week I would post videos of Horizon Zero Dawn, but I really don't have the time to have pictures loaded up. Videos loaded up. It takes too much time. So I will be playing that on my own. But like I said, my first YouTube channel, please subscribe to, as well as my second YouTube channel, please subscribe to. The way you can do that, if you go on my channel, you'll see at the top it has subscribed, and after subscribe, the bell icon comes up. Hit that bell icon to all. But it doesn't stop there. Scroll down a little bit. You'll see Marcus Speaks Play right there. You can do the same. All right. So check those links in the bottom. It's right there in the description. Also stream to Twitch when I do Marcus Speaks Play. But like I said earlier, for some reason Twitch hasn't been saving the videos. Usually they keep them for like 14 days, but they haven't been keeping those. I don't know what to tell you. But if you have a recommendation to give me, such as a story recommendation for me to cover, something that's been going on in the news, or something that only exclusively has been going on in your city, let me know either in the live chat, or if you're watching replay, let me know in the comments. Or if you want to reach me directly, you can hit me up in my DMs. The way you can do that is follow me on social media at Instagram at MarcusSpeaks.podcast, as well as Facebook at Marcus Speaks. Also have a picture of Marcus Speaks Podcast, as well as Twitter at Marcus Speaks 25, username Marcus Speaks Podcast. So check those links out at the bottom in the description box. It's right there for you. Follow me, subscribe to me, do what you gotta do to help me out. Because guess what? It's all free. Alright? It's all free. As well as, please like this video, share this video, and as well, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon also you can get all of my notifications once I go live, and drop a comment. Alright? And when I'm live, people, you can hit the link that's off to the side here and come and chat with me, alright? I only have 2 rules. You have to be on camera, and if you don't want to be on camera, have your camera on in the background. Once I bring you up, you can turn your camera on. Alright? So, what I want to do right now, I want to have a moment of silence a little bit. I want to talk about, or I want to go off on the names of the people that died the night of, or the day of the shooting. So we have Ruth Whitfield, Aaron Salter Jr., Pearl Young, Roberta Drury, Celestine Chaney, Haywood Patterson, Andre McNeil, Catherine Massey, Geraldine Chapman Talley, and Margaret. I think it's Margus D. Morris, not Magus D. Morris. I think the article that I got those names from got that name wrong. But yeah, man. Put a prayer in there for these people that lost their lives as well as their families, because a little bit always helps. All right. So, people, that has been tonight's show. I thank you guys for watching, and I will check you out next Friday on the game stream. All right. Check y'all out later. Peace out, and have a nice night.